Chapter 925, This Fatty is not a human. Chapter 925, This Fatty is not a human. Arrogant Dragon Squad has changed. Change that Rosefinch blood vessel's little junior sister into a fatty. I think it's very strange. Why didn't Long Fei go in? Yeah, his strength is so strong, why would he participate in the team competition? Is he afraid? The Blood Skeleton Battle Team, they are not ordinary teams. It is not that I say, the arrogant Dragon Squad will be smashed to the ground after a minute of attack. Open. The spectators were all discussing how arrogant Dragon Squad could hold on for a few seconds. Their abilities were not as good as the Blood Skeleton Battle Teams, they were only beaten, and these 5 members of the Blood Skeleton Battle Team were all battle-hardened people. Even some of them already had the qualifications to be promoted to the Academy's elders. Ning Xie, leader of the Blood Skeleton Battle Team, nickname Skeleton. His methods were cruel and incomparably sinister. Ning Xie stared at Song Qianqian and laughed, saying, "What a beautiful woman, if there were 2 more scars on her face, she would definitely be even more beautiful." Fat Men Chen shouted, "Aren't you Blood Skeleton? If you twist your head off, it will really turn into a skull. You're courting death." Boom. Ning Xie moved and clenched his fist. The power of the Blood Immortal stage erupted, and before Fat Men Chen could react, he punched out. Bam! His speed was too fast, and he had launched a sneak attack. Fat Men Chen's body was sent flying, instantly colliding with Boundary, who was more than 10 meters away. Boundary was agitated and he fell down from the Boundary. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! A roar of laughter came from the stands. An existence that can instantly kill someone. This fatty is a joke, right? Is he here to be funny? If you can't even block one move, and are still participating in team competition like this, it's really funny. It seems like no one in Arrogant Dragon Squad can use it, and you have even sent out a piece of trash. Arrogant Dragon Squad is definitely going to lose. After being sent flying with a single strike, Ning Xie also began to sneer disdainfully. He's so weak that he couldn't even withstand a single blow. The other 4 Blood Skeleton S all laughed in disdain. A trash like him is still participating in the team competition? Get lost and go back home to eat your *T. Song Qianqian did not understand the power of the Fat Men Chen. After being sent flying with just one move, her heart sank as she muttered to herself, "Oh no, I can't block his attack at all." If that's the case. Song Qianqian's mind was frantically thinking of a countermeasure. Long Fei's tactical plans were not working out at all. The fatty was sent flying with just one move, how could he withstand all the attacks? He couldn't take it at all. Just when everyone was laughing at him. Fatty got up from the ground and patted off the dust on his body. His mouth twitched as he said with disdain, "You only have this little strength. Too weak." As soon as he finished, the entire audience went silent. Fatty walked over slowly. There was not a single wound on his body. He looked like a monster. Chen Tianfei stared at Ning Xie and said, "I had thought that Blood Skeleton was very strong. With just that amount of power, even a wild dog on the street would be stronger than you guys." Incomparable arrogance. Ning Xie's eyes turned sinister, his expression fierce, and he shouted, "Brat, you're courting death." Fat Men Chen sneered, "I'm just looking to die, come bite me, come on, come on, come on, come on, quick, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. All 5 of you, attack together." The Fat Men Chen was rampant, his finger moved, pointing towards the 5 members of Ning Xie's Blood Skeleton Battle Team. 5 wild dogs, come and bite this fatty. He looked like a lunatic. Long Fei's heart relaxed, and he laughed lightly, "This fatty. So what if you don't act arrogantly? Is he crazy? To dare to provoke the Blood Skeleton Battle Team, is this not courting death? Just now, he was sent flying with a single punch, but now he still dares to come up and make a ruckus. Does he think he is a cat with 9 lives? Ning Xie was furious. He stared at the Fat Men Chen and said sinisterly, "No one dares to act arrogantly in front of me, Ning Xie, and still live on, prepare to die." Roar. A demon beast's roar came from his body. Next, he threw out his arms, and the power of the Immortal Foundation Battle Beast burst out. He took a step forward. Su. It tore through the skies. The two fists of heavy cannon shot towards Fat Man Chen's chest. Bam! The moment he came into contact with the Fat Man Chen's chest, power burst out and visible lines of power exploded out bit by bit. Chen Tianfei's body was instantly sent flying. He hit boundary. Slipping down from boundary. Die. Ning Xie retracted both of his fists and let out a cold laugh. The spectators all sucked in a breath of cold air. Fat Man Chen would definitely die from this fairy beast explosive punch. However, just when everyone thought that Fatty had been killed in an instant, he once again patted the dirt off his body. With a look of disdain, he said, "The power to tickle is not even equal to it. Too weak." The surrounding crowd went into an uproar. Holy *T. Is he even human? This Fatty has the holy artifact armor. He must have holy artifact armor on him, otherwise it would be impossible for him to withstand such a powerful attack. Ning Xie thought so too. If he did not have the holy artifact armor, a Fatty from the virtual immortal stage would not be able to withstand his attacks. The corner of Ning Xie's mouth lifted slightly, and said, "You have holy artifact armor, right?" TCH. Chen Tianfei disdainfully snorted. He used both hands to grab onto the clothes at his chest and ripped it off, revealing his upper body. "Do you have holy artifact armor?" This move was very eye-catching. However, Fatty's entire body was covered in fat, and his belly felt like it was being pregnant for 10 months. If it were all the muscles on his body, it would definitely cause countless girls to scream out in fear. However, the truth proved that he did not have any defensive armor on him. Ning Xie's gaze darkened, and he shouted, "Let me see how many moves you can endure." Boom! The clothes on his arms instantly burst apart, revealing the beast arm. Taking a step forward, the sound disappeared, and returned to Fat Man Chen's side. Bam! A punch flew out. Chen Tianfei was sent flying, but he said with disdain, "Didn't you eat this morning? Too weak." Bam! Another punch. Fatty scratched his back and said, "It's not even as strong as my scratching." Ah! Ning Xie was going crazy, his upper body immediately transforming into a beast, with his dense energy exploding out crazily, punching towards Fat Man Chen. Shoot from the sky to the ground. They hit back into the air from the ground. 5 minutes passed. Hoo. Ning Xie panted like an ox. Looking at the Fat Man Chen who was lying motionlessly on the ground in the distance, he roared out and said, "Brat, you're dead already." Huh! Fat Man Chen rubbed his eyes and got up from the ground, saying, "Are you done fighting? Why don't we fight for a while longer? I'm also having a lot of sleep." Hualala. Everyone in the audience was stunned. This Fatty isn't even human. Chapter 926, Fatty's Great Technique. Chapter 926, Fatty's Great Technique. Too abnormal. He had never seen such an abnormal person. Why didn't he die? The most important thing was that Fatty still had a face full of satisfaction when he was beaten up. He was enjoying the feeling of being beaten up, completely enjoying himself. A masochist. A masochist can get hurt. But he wasn't even hurt a single hair on his head. What sort of power was this? Phut! Ning Xie was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood, his body sinking down to the ground. In the stands, Ouyang Zhon locked the center of his brows, and asked profound College of Martial Arts Training elder Xiao Tianwu, "Isn't this Chen Tianfei a disciple of your Black Tortoise College of Martial Arts Training? What is his background?" Xiao Tianwu also felt his scalp go numb, and said, "Since he entered the College of Martial Arts Training, he has always been punished by me, and has never cultivated for even a day. I only know of him that he is a member of the general's estate. As for why he became like this, I'm not sure either. However, Xiao Tianwu cultivates in the path of defense and defense. As long as one doesn't die, he will be in an invincible position." He had researched defense for a few decades, and he had seen the battle clearly. The defense on Chen Tianfei's body was extremely terrifying, and this was not his strongest defense. Xiao Tianwu said faintly, "His defense is heaven-defying. I am afraid the members of the Blood Skeleton battle team are unable to break through his defense." The White Tiger principal's face darkened. He stared at Xiao Tianwu and asked, "What did you say?" You said that my Blood Skeletons team can't even deal with a fatty from the virtual Immortals stage? He was very unhappy. He had single-handedly created the Blood Skeleton battle team. Xiao Tianwu said, "Let me be direct, they are not this fatty's match, they are unable to break his defense." You. The White Tiger headmaster's face burned with anger as if he had been humiliated to the extreme. He said, "The best defense in this world is one's attack. No defense is impossible to break through." Xiao Tianwu said, "Your Blood Skeleton won't be able to break through his defense." Cluck, cluck. The White Tiger principal's expression became extremely ugly. Ouyang Zhon asked, "Principal Xiao, if you have something to say, just say it directly. It doesn't matter whether or not you win this competition, but it's enough as long as you can kill a few arrogant Dragon Squad's people." It didn't matter whether he won or not. His goal was to strike Long Fei. It was what made Long Fei uncomfortable, because the Pan family had already arranged everything, and all of the main scenes would be at the personal qualifying fight tomorrow. What they had to do today was to crush the members of arrogant Dragon Squad's team. It was precisely trying to make Long Fei angry. Suppressing his anger. Xiao Tianwu said, "It's very simple, although that fatty can't die, but with the Blood Skeleton battle team's strength, they can easily crush the others. They are the arrogant Dragon Squad's weakness." Ouyang Zhon suddenly realized something, and said, "That's right, why didn't I think that a team battle was not an individual battle? As long as the remaining 4 people were killed, the Blood Skeleton would be considered as having won." The White Tiger principal immediately shouted, "Ning Xie, don't target that fatty." Just one sentence was enough to wake someone from their dreams. Ning Xie was so angry by Fatty Chen that he vomited blood, causing him to go crazy, lose his mind, and did not go to the other 4. He instantly became excited upon hearing what the White Tiger headmaster said. "Heh. Fatty, you are indeed difficult to deal with, but..." Ning Xie laughed coldly, and said, "You only have strong defense, have you attacked? Power is king, your defense is just trash." As soon as he finished, Ning Xie stared coldly at the 4 of them, and said, "First cripple the 4 of them, and then deal with this fatty." It was also at this time. Fatty Chen walked up to Ning Xie again, and looked at him. "You're saying that I did not attack?" "All right. Originally, I wanted to play a bit more. Since you think I didn't attack, then I'll let you see what my attack is." Fatty Chen's eyes darkened. He took a step forward. It was just like the stance of a sumo wrestler. As he placed his hands together, the power in his entire body increased, causing his face to turn red. "Old Lord Taishang, I order you urgently, to let you see my fatty's great move." Ah. A string of ghostly wails. Ning Xie was cautious and alert. He had been shocked by Fatty Chen, causing him to tremble a little. Just when they were all feeling extremely nervous, the fatty suddenly turned around. He straightened his butt and faced the Blood Skeleton battle team. Fut. A super loud fart could be seen with the naked eye. The entire martial arts practice grounds fell silent. Everyone looked at Chen Tianfei with dazed eyes. Long Fei secretly rejoiced in his heart. "Luckily I was not by his side, otherwise I would have lost all my face because of him." "Fatty your head, are you Xiao Bai's number 2? Damn you, this is the ultimate move. Big your head." The surrounding stands also started cursing furiously a few seconds later. "Are you really here to make a fool of yourself? Damn it, I'm dying from laughter, ha ha ha. This move is too awesome. Fatty, this brother admires you. He admires you for using your life so much that it's funny. Ha ha ha." The entire audience burst into laughter. How could such a strange thing happen to the arrogant Dragon Squad? Aoya looked at Long Fei and asked, "What exactly does this fatty want?" Long Fei replied, "I don't know him." Linglong said, "It must be very smelly. Look at Sister Chen's expression, she's holding her breath." The boundary air on the stage was not flowing. If anyone farted, the smell would always be floating around. Song Qianqian's expression changed. The expressions of Xiao Ying, Han Shueji, and Man Tuoluo all changed. However, their faces were still okay. Ning Xie's face immediately turned green. Just as the fatty was about to fart, He took in a deep breath and inhaled most of the poison aura in his body. That refreshing feeling. It was simply incomparable. Ning Xie's entire person also went berserk. Ah! You won't die, fatty. I'll kill you. Mad Xiao Ying also bellowed. Fatty, before you fart, can't you say hello? Do you want to kill us all? Huh. Fatty Chen scratched his head and said apologetically, sorry. I had a stomachache this morning and used the wrong move. I never expected it to be this bad. Wait a moment, my big move is about to come. How could he make a mistake with a high-leveled skill? Was it really that funny? It was also at this time that Han Shueji yelled out, Fatty, be careful. This time, Ning Xie was more furious than ever, and in his hand was a large blade. He was determined to cut open half of the fatty's butt. Fatty, be careful. Fatty. The four women all cried out in alarm. Fatty acted as if he hadn't heard them. With a cheerful and happy expression, he looked at the four of them and said, watch carefully. This time around, the danger zone is a powerful move. Chen Tianfei's forehead turned sinister. The power of the divine armor in his body surged. And then, Chen Tianfei shouted loudly, explode for me. Chapter 927, Thorned Armor. Chapter 927, Thorned Armor. Fatty shouted. Ning Xie roared, stupid pig, stop putting on airs. Go and die for me. Being toyed with by the fat men Chen, he had already lost all sense of reason. He only had one thought left, kill Chen Tianfei. He had to kill him. Just when everyone was worried for Chen Tianfei, he let out a loud shout, and Ning Xie's body suddenly sank. The force was sucked into his body at a maddening pace. It continued to crazily devour. Long Fei looked through the system and was shocked. His health point is going insane. Why is that so? Chen Tianfei didn't do anything. Could it be that the big move from before was poisoned to this state? Long Fei instantly rejected it. Chen Tianfei did not even know how to use poison. It was definitely not a fart that could cause Ning Xie, who was in the blood immortal realm, to become like this. What was that? Long Fei's mind frantically played back everything that happened in the stage. Suddenly, Long Fei's mind buzzed, his eyes became extremely excited. Wakaka, Armor of Thorns, inversion. Oh my god. This fatty is too eye-catching, isn't he? From the beginning, the fatty had always angered Ning Xie. He had been crazily enduring Ning Xie's attacks from the beginning, and in exactly 5 minutes, the fat men Chen had amassed an innumerable amount of backlash. Just as Ning Xie had gone berserk with a fart, he had been the most careless of them all, because the backlash at this time would reach its highest point. Holy Armor King Kong, a heaven-defying defense. I never thought it could be purified to such a degree. Armor of Thorns. How awesome. Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock. Indeed. After 2 months of secret training, the fat men Chen had made too many breakthroughs. The biggest breakthrough place was his Holy Armor Fairy Vein, and right now, his Holy Armor Fairy Vein had already broken through to the 7th level. It could turn a defense into a counterattack. His most powerful defense was also his most powerful attack. This was the most abnormal thing about him. However, if the 7th floor only had the Armor of Thorns, then what was the 8th floor? Resurrection Armor? Long Fei was starting to look forward to it. When his brother became strong, he was happier than anyone else. Fatty was really getting stronger. He practiced the art of defense to the fullest. Ning Xie plummeted from the sky and landed on the ground. The countless backlash from his body exploded out, and the surrounding people didn't even understand what was going on. They did not know what the Armor of Thorns was. It was the same for the people from the martial arts arena. What's going on? What's going on? Could it be that the attack that Fatty just used is really a big one? Isn't that just a fart? This Fatty is too weird, he's not even human. Ouyang Zhon stared at Xiao Tianwu and shouted, what exactly happened? Didn't you say that he didn't attack? How did it become like this? White Tiger Dean was even more furious. Xiao Tianwu, King, explain to me what actually happened. Xiao Tianwu frowned as he shook his head. I don't know either, but the Tao of defense I cultivate is somewhat different from his. I also don't understand why Ning Xie would be injured to such a state in such a short time. Even the self-proclaimed strongest defense Xiao Tianwu couldn't understand. If he didn't understand it, no one would understand it. There was no armor of thorns in this world. Other than Long Fei, who else would understand? Fat Men Chen turned slightly around to look at the Ning Xie, who was in incomparable pain, and said with a cold smile, "Wasn't that a great beating? Aren't you quite unreasonable? Isn't that the skull of the blood skeleton? Aren't you going to kill this fatty? You're a dead dog now." Chen Tianfei walked forward step by step, with a cold sneer on his face. He said, "I will kill whoever blocks my boss." As soon as he finished, Fat Men Chen jumped heavily into the air and shouted, "All of you, listen up. If you dare to stop my boss, you will all die. Look at this fatty's big move. A human meat bomb." Chen Tianfei descended from the skies, and his body, which weighed several hundred kilograms, blasted downwards. Like a heavy bomb, he heavily smashed onto Ning Xie's body. Rumble. Rumble. Fresh blood spurted out. Ning Xie's body exploded. He turned into a pile of meat paste. Dead. Chen Tianfei stood up and kicked Ning Xie flying. He pointed at the remaining 4 people and said, "It's your turn now." His expression, his movements, the aura he gave off, as well as his bloody stomach, made him look extremely charming. The defense line in the Hearts of Blood Skeletons group of 4 instantly collapsed. "We admit defeat, we admit defeat, we admit defeat." The entire audience was in an uproar. The Blood Skeleton battle team, ranked 5th, was usually arrogant, despotic, and sinister, but now, he had been crushed by a fatty. Captain Ning Xie had also exploded. The mysterious power that Fatty unleashed caused the tens of thousands of people in martial arts arena to be completely shocked. An incomparably terrifying existence. Was he even human? He defeated the entire Blood Skeleton battle team by himself. This Fatty was too awesome. White Tiger Dean, is your Blood Skeleton battle team that trash? Ouyang Zhon was disdainful. He could destroy the entire Blood Skeleton battle team just by himself. Arrogant Dragon Squad's aura immediately soared to the peak. White Tiger Dean's face was extremely ugly, his fists were clenched tightly clenching, his eyes revealed killing intent. He stared straight at Chen Tianfei. His eyes burned with anger at the smug Chen Tianfei. Mad dragon, mad dragon, mad dragon, mad dragon, mad dragon, mad dragon. A large number of cheers came from the martial arts arena. The shock that Fatty gave them was just too great. He walked down the arena. Chen Tianfei's face was full of smugness. Looking at the cheers around him, he was extremely excited. "Sisters, scream for me. Ha ha ha. This Fatty is invincible." Song Qianqian walked out of the stage and looked at Long Fei, and thought to himself, "Is this the power of the people of Long family?" He actually found such a heaven-defying Fatty. Just as they walked out of the arena, suddenly, a beam of killing intent diffused, and a golden light shot up to the sky as a powerful force assaulted the Fat Men Chen from all directions. Sneak attack. The White Tiger Kung Fu tribe's principal's sneak attack. Long Fei's face darkened. He took a step forward, and instantly rushed out, yelling, "Fatty, be careful." The speed of the Golden Immortal rank was too fast. Even if Long Fei reacted in time, his speed would not be able to keep up. Fat Men Chen's eyes darkened as he looked at the incoming White Tiger Dean. He then stomped his feet heavily on the ground, causing his fists to sink and his grip to become heavy. Buzz. A visible armor appeared all over his body. Fat Men Chen became excited, and said, "Come." Chapter 928, Long Fei's Attack. Chapter 928, Long Fei's Attack. All this time, even when he was blasted to heaven and earth by Ning Xie, Fat Men Chen still did not use all of his strength. He didn't even summon out his divine armor. Facing the super strong power of the White Tiger Kung Fu tribe, the Fat Men Chen did not dare to be careless. Golden Immortal rank, his limit. Moreover, before he left, Qiu Wandao had specially instructed him not to fight with the powerhouse of the 4 Deans, or else he would undoubtedly lose and he might even die. How could he retreat in this world? How could he be afraid? The divine armor on Chen Tianfei's body erupted with power as he roared towards the sky, Come. The power of the white tiger Dean came crashing down like thunder. Rumble. Golden Immortal Stage Level 6 Cultivation surged out, his palm struck down at Chen Tianfei's head. Fatty. Brother Fatty, be careful. Fatty. Xiao Ying and the others cried out in alarm, but they could not keep up with him at all. Even Long Fei was the same, as at this moment, he could only rely on himself. Die. White Tiger Dean bellowed, the anger in his heart ignited. The blood skeleton battle team was destroyed just like that. His most prized disciple, Ning Xie, was destroyed just like that. He could not swallow his anger. It was also because of this that he went berserk, and directly slammed his palm towards Chen Tianfei with all his might. The power of this palm strike was extremely ferocious. The sound of glass shattering continuously rang out in the air as pieces of glass collapsed one after another. Cracks of power appeared on the fatty's head. The divine armor couldn't withstand it. It was collapsing. While the cracks were being created, the fatty was holding on with all his might. The white tiger Dean was incomparably shocked. He was very clear in his heart just how strong this palm strike was, that it was actually unable to penetrate Chen Tianfei's defense in an instant. Zhong Xian was infuriated. With a flick of his left hand, his palm landed on the back of his right palm. The two forces heavily struck down. I want to see how much strength you can still withstand. White tiger roar. Boom. With a move of his left hand, an extremely strong energy multiplied by twofold. A ferocious tiger roar came from White Tiger Dean's body, and a gigantic white tiger appeared in the air, smashing right above Chen Tianfei's head. His strength was extremely powerful. The strength of a white tiger. If White Tiger Dean actually released the white tiger's power, then this fatty is going to die. The power of the white tiger is a powerful force within the four matrial halls. Fatty is going to die. The four matrial halls' Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tortoise weren't just names. The four matrial halls all had the power of four divine beasts, such as offense, defense, or even blood vein. The power of the white tiger was a power unique to the white tiger Kung Fu tribe. And the white tiger Dean was a person who possessed traces of the white tiger blood vein. The power of the white tiger he released was even more ferocious than before. The scene was incomparably shocking. The gigantic white tiger image crushed Chen Tianfei's head upside down. Both of its hands formed two claws that fiercely smashed onto Chen Tianfei's head. Chen Tianfei's body was trembling. The holy armor fairy vein's defensive power was exploding. Phut! Chen Tianfei's face turned pale, he spat out a mouthful of blood, staring at him angrily, he bellowed, is that all? Could you be stronger? Boom! The divine armor fiercely exploded under Chen Tianfei's fury. The force above his head exploded, a powerful defense formed a rebound force. White Tiger Dean's palms hurt, his body flipped violently in the air. Another bombardment. The power of the divine armor exploded forth, dissipating at the same time. It was being crushed. The defensive capabilities of the divine armor on Fatty disappeared as he stared at the sky. His heart skipped a beat as he said, I'm finished. This Fatty is going to see the old Master Hades. Presbyter Cho can't say it, the powerhouse of the golden immortal rank is my limit, I can't surpass it. However, this Fatty has lived enough, ha ha ha. He was originally just a fat pig in the eyes of others, a good-for-nothing, and a prodigal son. The reason he could shock tens of thousands of people to such an extent was all because of Long Fei. He thanked Long Fei in his heart. He felt proud to have such a boss, but he could not bear any more responsibility for Long Fei and could not accompany him any further. He was somewhat unwilling in his heart. Fat Men Chen looked in the direction Long Fei had rushed in, and was startled, where's boss? The instant the divine armor on his body cracked, Long Fei had already arrived before him. When the second move from the White Tiger courtyard came crashing down, Long Fei shouted in his heart, Big Day Tashigata, Buddha palm technique. With a move of his body, his right palm shot out towards the sky towards the White Tiger Dean that was rushing down from the sky. The power of the golden holy Buddha. Buddhist light filled the sky. An incomparably huge palm print shot up into the sky. The entire arena was in an uproar as countless people stood up. What kind of palm technique is this? Buddhist light? Could he be a Buddhist cultivator? Golden giant palm? How is this called a palm art? I don't understand. In this world, there had never been a palm technique like this before, and they simply could not understand it. Not only them, even Pan Zhon could not understand it. He thought that he understood Long Fei very well, but seeing Long Fei release the Buddha palm technique, he also had a face full of bewilderment. However, this was not just limited to Buddha palm technique. During this month, Long Fei had never stopped cultivating the Buddha palm technique, and the current Buddha palm technique was no longer the Buddha palm technique of the beginning. Moreover, he was just a little bit away from breaking through and entering the second form of the Big Day Tathagata. The strength of the white tiger came crashing down. The two powers clashed in an instant, and a series of explosive sounds exploded in the air as a golden halo shot out. The sounds of explosions continuously sounded out in the sky. Boom, boom, boom. White Tiger Dean's arms went numb, his palms started to crack, his mind was trembling, and fear started to rise. What kind of power is this? Long Fei was the same. His arms were dislocated, his joints were about to split, and his mind was filled with the sound of great strength. However, he did not tremble. He shouted with incomparable savagery, "Move against my brother, come on, a mere white tiger, do it again if you dare." Incomparable power. A domineering aura burst out from his body like a king looking down on the world. The entire audience was squashed by Long Fei. All of their faces were extremely shocked, looking at Long Fei, their minds went blank. This guy was not a human. Both of his hands held behind his back as he trembled. As he stared at Long Fei's incomparably arrogant expression, the fear in his heart grew even stronger. He had never seen the power of the Holy Buddha before. It was extremely dense, so thick that it could not be penetrated at all. At this moment, he did not dare to take another step forward. He was scared, had been completely crushed by Long Fei. His heart was filled with incomparable fear. Chapter 929, Heavily Injured. Chapter 929, Heavily Injured. Come on. Long Fei glared at White Tiger Dean, stared at Ouyang Zhon and the rest, and bellowed, "Come again. Make a move on my brother. Come on. Come down and kill me." In this short span of time, the 17 principal of College of Martial Arts Training were completely crushed by the surging rage and overbearing auras, rendering them unable to move at all. Long Fei was just that fierce. He knew he could only rely on this short moment to crush them. His injuries were much heavier than the White Tiger Dean's. The only difference was that Long Fei was able to hold on. Hold on for dear life. Ouyang Zhon was shocked, he thought. Is this your strongest power? Pan Zhon's heart sank as well. In just a short span of half a year, you've actually grown to such a level. From the spiritual level to the virtual immortal stage, to the strength of such a huge golden palm. The people of the Long family. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Pan Zhon gave him an unprecedented pressure. He felt that the current Long family was already a bunch of trash. It could not pose any threat to the Pan family. But he realized now that he was wrong. He couldn't handle a single Long Fei. If Long Fei continued growing up, Pan family would really be stomped over by him again. Pan Zhon's heart turned sinister. No, we cannot. We can't let Long Fei grow any longer. He's really too terrifying. We have to kill him tomorrow. We can't let him live no matter what. We can't let him live no matter what. The pressure in his heart grew stronger and stronger. Just a moment ago, Pan Zhon's heart was trembling. With this, he couldn't let Long Fei live any longer. However, is this Long Fei's strongest power? No one knew. The entire martial arts training ground had been quiet for more than a minute, and everyone was staring at Long Fei. After a long time of silence, many people exhaled. He was completely suppressed by Long Fei's powerful aura. Too strong. To be able to send the White Tiger Dean flying, is this the power of the people from the Long family? Are all the people of the Nantian region this strong? Mad dragon, mad dragon, mad dragon. All of a sudden, the entire martial arts training field cheered, shouting out the two words Kwong Long in a loud voice. Arrogant Dragon Squad's reputation became louder and louder, and his influence became stronger and stronger. Dao Ba was incomparably excited as he hysterically shouted. Song Qianqian looked at Long Fei, and was once again shocked in his heart. Is this your power? Is that your influence? The people of Long family are truly different. It was not because Long Fei had released the Buddha palm technique to block the white tiger Dean, but because of the aura Long Fei's body had released. The kind of aura that could make the blood of those around him boil. Long Fei could infect everyone. Ouyang Zhon's face sank, and shouted loudly, "Enough!" His voice was like thunder, suppressing the martial arts arena's voice as he said, "If anyone dares to make a ruckus again, don't blame me for being impolite. Long Fei, you actually dared to attack the White Tiger Dean just now. Now, deduct the points from the arrogant dragon squad." Ouyang Zhon shouted. Long Fei glared and said, "Ouyang Zhon, what qualifications do you have to deduct arrogant dragon squad's points? Are you the judge? Are you evaluating me? Are you the Dean's Dean? What qualifications do you have?" Long Fei refused to accept this. Ouyang Zhon said, "I said deduct it, then deduct it." Unfair. One of them stood up and shouted loudly, "It was clearly White Tiger Dean who made the first move. Why did you attack arrogant dragon squad? Unfair. Unfair. They are always targeting the arrogant dragon squad. Is there any fairness in the God Emperor Academy? All of a sudden. Infuriate the public. Yesterday, Long Fei smashed Boundary into pieces and was extremely shocked. Now, he was blocking White Tiger Dean's attack with his palm, which made them even more excited. What is a powerhouse? This was the powerhouse. Most importantly, Long Fei risked his life for her brother, even if it was the same when facing the White Tiger Dean. The arrogance and tyranny he possessed caused many hot-blooded young warriors in martial arts arena to be impressed by his character of brother being able to disregard life and death. They admired him from the bottom of their hearts. He was also feeling envious of Fatty and the others. Such a boss was simply too lucky. Unfair. Her voice was getting louder and louder, and even the disciples of the 18 matrial halls were shouting at the same time. Young and arrogant. Hot blood indignation. Every young person is like this, to face unfair things to fight. Ouyang Zhon also realized that he had angered the masses. He could not help but look at the 8 Fairy Hall Elder S with a pleading look. If the Fairy Hall Elder agreed to his actions, he would do everything he could. One of the Fairy Hall Elder bellowed, "Keep your points." Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. As expected of an elder of the Palace Question of God, anyone with a discerning eye would know that it was White Tiger Dean who ambushed us first. Mad Dragon! Mad Dragon! The people of martial arts arena shouted again, in an orderly manner, their voices shaking the sky. Boss, so mighty and domineering. Too cool. Long Fei took a glance at the Fairy Hall Elder, and thought in his heart, was this also arranged by the Supreme God? The Fairy Hall Elder S were directly under the Supreme God's control. He thought that it was the Supreme God who had helped him yesterday and earlier, because the Supreme God didn't want to see him make a move, and thus, the Supreme God wanted to make better use of him. Long Fei would never think of that. All of this was part of Pan Sheng's plans. To kill a person, the best and most satisfying method was to make them stand at a height that they could never reach before bombarding them. Turn everything he has into dust. Only by standing high up could the fall be painful. This was what Pan Sheng wanted to do. Long Fei did not know about all these. Ouyang Zhon was extremely unhappy, and he said in his heart fiercely, "Is this Fairy Hall Elder standing over there in the end?" Looking at the incomparably pleased Long Fei, Ouyang Zhon harumphed coldly in his heart, "Let's see how long you can continue being pleased with yourself." Chen Tianfei recovered slightly, walked to Long Fei's side and asked, "Boss, are you alright?" Long Fei forcefully suppressed the boiling blood in his chest, and shook his head, "It's nothing, it's nothing. All of you, come here." Chen Tianfei frowned, Song Qianqian and the others also quickly walked up and surrounded Long Fei. Phut! Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood, his face becoming extremely pale. He wiped the blood off the corner of his mouth and said, "I suffered some injuries, don't let anyone find out." Boss! Chen Tianfei's face tensed up, and he started to secretly blame himself in his heart. Long Fei said, "Don't worry, they won't find out that I'm injured, but I'm afraid I won't even be able to go on a match with the team competition today." Fatty. This is a level 5 variant crystal nucleus, a total of 3. Take it first and use it on the stage. Also, all of you are the same. Long Fei arranged for them. Also, there are Destiny Changer S, you will have to use them in every match for the next one. At this moment, Long Fei's arm powerlessly smashed down from the hammer, the two eyes in front of him dislocated. Alchemy competition, go, Long Fei. Long Fei's face suddenly tensed up, crap. Chapter 930 Ouyang Zhon, you dare to gamble with your life. Chapter 930 Ouyang Zhon, you dare to gamble with your life. His hands had been dislocated, so how was his alchemy? Moreover, both of Long Fei's arms were in incomparable pain, his hands were not only dislocated, they could not even hold the green dragon tripod back. He was even more unable to control the pill fire. How were they going to proceed with the alchemy competition? Ouyang Zhon shouted, Long Fei, I called you up to get alchemy, didn't you hear? If you do not come to stage of powder-making competition soon, you will be sentenced to lose. He had a bellyful of fire now. He did not understand Pan Zhon, and he did not understand the Fairy Hall Elder. They had obviously teamed up to deal with Long Fei, but until now, he, the 18 Matrial Halls, was still teaming up to deal with Long Fei. Pan family was indifferent. Fairy Hall Elder was the same. Personal qualifying fight is the main point. Long Fei had already become strong to this extent, so which other disciple in the personal qualifying fight could be his match? Ouyang Zhon couldn't understand. Long Fei was too strong. The virtual immortals was able to crush a genius of the blood immortal realm. Right now, the only method was to exhaust as much of his energy as possible, and to exhaust the strength of the people around him. Ouyang Zhon would not allow Long Fei to obtain first place in 3 matches. He would not allow the birth of the 19th College of Martial Arts Training, and he would definitely not give Long Fei the chance to do so. Long Fei was currently too popular. Once he established the 19th College of Martial Arts Training, a large portion of the God Emperor Academy's disciples would join, which would be a fatal blow to his 18 Matrial Halls. It would also affect his position in the God Emperor Academy. In this year's Academy competition, his goal was to obtain the position of Dean. With Long Fei's sudden rise to prominence, his position as the Dean was definitely going to be ruined. Using all of his strength to block, Ouyang Zhon looked at Long Fei, who was surrounded by Song Qianqian and the others, and suddenly shouted, Long Fei, did you hear what I said? I asked you to get on the alchemy. I'll give you half a minute. If you don't reach stage of powder-making competition within that half a second, I'll sentence you to lose. Chen Tianfei looked at Long Fei's hands and said, Boss, you can't compete. Song Qianqian followed, your hands are about to become crippled, you can't use your alchemy anymore. Man Tuoluo followed, Long Fei, give up this match, we are thinking of another way. Long Fei's current condition simply did not allow him to have any alchemy at all. If he could not even drag the powder tripod with his hands, how would he get to the alchemy? The power of Celestial's pill fire definitely could not be controlled. But he decided that he must definitely do what he had to do. Gritting his teeth, he shouted loudly, Ouyang Zhon, what are you so anxious about? Do you want to bet pills with Laozi? Finished. Long Fei walked out from the encirclement of Chen Tianfei and the others. His hands were slightly hanging down. It was unbearable. But he gritted his teeth and held on. Life is full of surprises. In the face of an unexpected situation, it's not as if you can just back off whenever you want. Moreover, there was no such word as retreat in Long Fei's dictionary. Step by step, he walked towards the stage of powder-making competition. Long Fei stared at Ouyang Zhon, who was in the audience, and sneered, Ouyang Zhon, you call me that fierce? Do you dare to gamble? I heard that Shu Tianhe is your best friend, right? Seeing your friend get killed, don't you want to get revenge? Why don't you bet your life with me today? He was still as arrogant as before. It was hard to find any differences between him and normal people. Ouyang Zhon's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, Kid, don't be too arrogant. Long Fei disdainfully said, I am such a brat, come bite me if you dare, but if you don't dare, rest easy, don't embarrass yourself in front of me. Cluck, cluck. Ouyang Zhon was so angry that his teeth were about to break. They were all filled with rage. He just didn't dare to have any temper. Chen Tianfei looked at Long Fei, who was standing on top of the stage of powder-making competition, and said solemnly, "Boss." He had a bad feeling about this. Song Qianqian, Man Tuoluo, Han Shueji, and the others didn't feel good about it at all. They didn't even understand why Long Fei was going all out like this. In their hearts, they asked themselves, is this a man? They didn't understand Long Fei. I don't understand a man. His hands were about to be crippled. Why did he still go up alchemy? They didn't know. For father. For himself. For the Long family, for the Nantian region, since he had chosen this path, then no matter what Long Fei encountered, he would endure through it all. Standing on the stage of powder-making competition, Long Fei did not move an inch. Another alchemy disciple was truly quick to refine medicinal pellets. Why isn't he moving? He hasn't even taken out the pill furnace. What's going on? He could even suppress Shu Tianhe yesterday. Why didn't he do anything today? What are you doing? Many people were discussing. Almost everyone was staring at Long Fei. They could not understand why Long Fei did not refine it himself. Suddenly, White Tiger Dean's eyes tensed up, and suddenly said, "Ha ha ha." His hands are crippled. Under the impact of the power he had received, his arms turned numb, but Long Fei acted as if nothing had happened. Why? It was because he had forcefully pretended to do so. White Tiger Dean became excited. Even if the joints in his hands weren't broken, they have already been dislocated. He won't be able to concoct pills for a short period of time. Ouyang Zhon was also staring at Long Fei's arm. Without moving at all, he became excited too, and shouted loudly, "Long Fei, aren't you arrogant? I want to see how you, with your hands crippled, will perform with your alchemy. Ha ha ha. A life wager. Do you dare to bet now?" Ouyang Zhon clamored. He would not let go of any opportunity to attack Long Fei, and took the chance to ruthlessly trample on her. Everyone looked at Long Fei. Could it be that his hands were broken by the White Tiger courtyard? Then why was he so arrogant just now? I thought he was all right. So it's all fake. Damn, I thought he was that strong. I didn't expect him to be so strong. All sorts of discussions broke out. Time passed minute by second. Long Fei turned a deaf ear to the surrounding sounds of ridicule, as if he did not hear anything. 3 minutes later, the alchemy disciple said excitedly, "I have completed the refinement." A single medicinal pill wasn't of a high grade. But as long as he could concoct pills, it would be enough to crush Long Fei. Because there was nothing he could do now. At this time, a fairy hall elder stood up and said, "Long Fei, you still have 3 minutes. If you cannot refine the pill in 3 minutes, you will be sentenced to lose the competition." 3 minutes. 3 minutes wasn't enough to forge anything. He could no longer concoct any pills. Ouyang Zhon laughed excitedly. "Long Fei, continue being so arrogant. I want to see how you are going to concoct the pill in 3 minutes. Even a dog like you can have such a day. Let's see how you can still act so arrogantly now." The people of 18 matrial halls all laughed loudly. There really wasn't enough time to concoct a single immortal pellet in 3 minutes, not to mention that Long Fei's arms were already crippled, so it was even more impossible for him to concoct one. Huff. Long Fei let out a long breath, lifted both his arms, and sigh. He sucked in a breath of cold air. His joints were in incomparable pain. However, he did not reveal any expression of pain, and after he shouted, he stared at Ouyang Zhon and laughed coldly. "Ouyang Zhon, do you dare to gamble your life?" Chapter 931, You Are a Weak Chicken. Chapter 931, You Are a Weak Chicken. Ouyang Zhon, I'm just asking you a question. Do you dare to gamble with your life? Long Fei stared at Ouyang Zhon's smug expression, his eyes wide open, his heart filled with anger. Amongst the principal of 18 matrial halls, Ouyang Zhon was the most cocky. He would bite Long Fei when he had the chance. Like it. Long Fei asked for the 3rd time, "Do you dare to gamble your life?" At this moment, Ouyang Zhon's expression became cold, and thinking back to the scene of Shu Tianhe and his powder-making competition being slashed by a blade yesterday, his body subconsciously took half a step back. He didn't dare to gamble. At least, He did not dare bet his life with Long Fei on the powder-making competition. However, Ouyang Zhon laughed coldly and said, "Why would I want to gamble with my life? There are only 2 minutes left. Do I still need to gamble with my life? You're about to lose, ha ha ha." Another minute passed, and only 2 minutes remained of the final 3 minutes. Long Fei disdainfully said, "My hands were crippled, there are only 2 minutes left. You don't even dare to gamble in this kind of sure defeat situation. Ouyang Zhon, you are truly a coward. A person as timid as a mouse like you really doesn't know how to become a green dragon hegemon. You even want to become a dean? What a joke." Long Fei was not anxious, he was still waiting. It was as if his hand was accumulating energy. His hand was in a very painful state, and he still needed some time to recover. Ouyang Zhon's face was extremely ugly as he shouted, "Brat, you think I'm Xu Tianhe? Don't let your words get the better of you." Long Fei laughed, "You are not even comparable to Xu Tianhe, at least he still dares to bet with me. What about you? You are just a coward. I guess you are just the material for schemes and tricks behind your back, and yet you want to become the dean even after acting like this. Why don't you take a piss and take care of yourself? How dare you?" Ouyang Zhon roared in anger, stared at Long Fei and said, "A mere trash from the Nantian region, you think that you can be so arrogant just because you're from the Long family? Long family is no longer the Long family of the past. Long family is now also a lowly trash family. Don't think that you can act presumptuously just because you've won 2 rounds. This is God Emperor Academy, not your home. Long Fei, don't think that I wouldn't dare to touch you. There is a limit to my patience." The rage raged. Long Fei continued to laugh. "Come and touch me, you have the guts to come and King touch me now, quick, quick. I'm standing right here. Come and touch me. Arrogant beyond compare." Humph. Ouyang Zhon heavily snorted, and said, "You want me to make a move on you, but you still found an excuse to cancel the alchemy competition, right? Kid, stop dreaming. You still have a minute. Your alchemy competition is going to end in a minute. I want to see how you still get 3 more super divine marks, ha ha ha." There was only 1 minute left. It was impossible to concoct a pill in a minute, there was not enough time. Everyone looked at Long Fei. They all thought that Long Fei had given up. Even Song Qianqian and the others thought that Long Fei had given up. It was impossible to succeed in this time. Chen Tianfei said solemnly, "Boss, don't do anything stupid." Only the fat man Chen was still worried, because he knew Long Fei's character very well. "You like to laugh, right? You like to see lousy laugh, right? Then open your eyes wide and see." Long Fei glared at the center of his brows and a stream of power burst out from his body. And then, he flipped his left hand. Boom. Power of celestial surged, pill fire burned, and the green dragon tripod on his left hand began to frantically spin. Hiss. Long Fei sucked in a breath of cold air as his body trembled. His arm was in incomparable pain and was unable to bear the weight of the green dragon medicine tripod. 1 minute. Just for a minute. Long Fei clenched his teeth, he raised his right hand and roared at the sky, "Ah!" The spirit grass quickly threw itself into the powder tripod and released the spirit liquid. Long Fei's idea rushed in and removed the rest of the magazines. Cold sweat covered his back. However, Long Fei's arm only trembled at the very beginning, not moving an inch behind him, no different from a normal person's arm. His knot hurt his hand. Then why didn't he use his alchemy just now? It was faked. Just to mock Ouyang Zhon. Holy shit, 1 minute of alchemy? Isn't this kid a little too crazy? How is that possible? The surroundings were filled with discussions. Ouyang Zhon's expression turned cold, and thought in his heart, "Brat, you want to scheme against me? Mph, luckily I didn't agree. However, there's only 20 seconds left. You can't concoct a complete pill at all. You're doomed." Ouyang Zhon could not tell whether Long Fei's arm was actually injured, or just a fake one. However, he only knew that Long Fei was going to lose for sure. The time was almost up. Ah! Long Fei roared once again, the power of celestial flame was extremely fierce, the flames inside the powder tripod began to condense faster and faster. 5, 4. A fairy hall elder began counting down, You still have 3 seconds. 2, 1, time's up. Stop the fire. As he shouted, a powerful crushing force surged out, causing Long Fei's body to sink down fiercely. The fire in his hand was instantly extinguished. Clang. With a loud noise, the green dragon medicine tripod fell from Long Fei's palm. His arms couldn't take it anymore. His face turned pale as he panted heavily. Phew, phew, phew. This was the first time he had used such an extreme level of alchemy. Watching the powder tripod fall to the ground, the entire martial arts practice grounds was in an uproar. Ah! The powder tripod dropped to the ground. It seems like his arms are really useless. He's definitely going to lose this time. Long Fei is really powerful. Even if both of his hands were crippled, he can still go fight now. Furthermore, he can still crush Green Dragon Hegumen. I admire this kind of person. Hualala. Many people stood up and applauded Long Fei for being fearless. Ouyang Zhon sneered and said, "What's the use of clapping? You've already lost, ahahaha." If even the powder tripod fell to the ground, how could they still win the competition? Impossible. The powder tripod had probably not even condensed a pill yet, so even if it had, it would only be a waste powder. Long Fei stared at the extremely proud Ouyang Zhon, and laughed once more. "Ouyang Zhon, didn't you want me to die? I'll give you one more chance. Do you dare to gamble with your life?" As soon as his voice faded, the entire audience quieted down as they looked at Ouyang Zhon. "If you think that you will lose the duel, then I'll ask you, do you dare to gamble with your life?" Long Fei bellowed, "Do you dare?" Ouyang Zhon's eyes darkened. Long Fei sneered, and said, "You're afraid of death. This old man will shit on your head, or else I'll drag it into your mouth. You won't even dare to resist. What a weak chicken." Chapter 932, Slashing Ouyang Jian. Chapter 932, Slashing Ouyang Jian. Arrogant. He wanted to step on Ouyang Zhon and not let him go. "You are arrogant. Then Laozi will be even more arrogant than you. Are you cocky? Then I'll slap your face and see how smug you are." Long Fei was not afraid of everything. If he failed in this academy competition, then he would never be able to recover. At the very least, there would be no place for him in God Emperor Academy. The 18 matrial halls, 18 bosses, any one of them were incomparably strong existences. If he failed, it might mean his death. He could only move forward and not retreat. If that was the case, why didn't he continue to act so arrogantly? So what if he was a high and mighty Green Dragon Hegumen? Step. Therefore, Long Fei rampaged through without regard for the principle of the 18 matrial halls. He stared at Ouyang Zhon, who was in the arena, and said each word clearly, "You are just a weak chicken." Ouyang Zhon clenched his fists tightly. The killing intent around his body was extremely strong. It was the first time in his life that he had been humiliated by a student. At this moment, Ouyang Jian, who was beside him, could not help but stand up and shouted, "Long Fei, you want to bet your life, right?" The revelation soared. In the blink of an eye, he landed on the stage of powder-making competition. As he stared at Long Fei, "I will definitely kill you in front of everyone's lives." Aoya. Ouyang Jian stared at the distant Aoya and coldly snorted. "Open your eyes wide and look clearly, see how I killed him." Compared to the Ouyang Jian from a month ago, his cultivation had already broken through quite a bit. This time, he definitely wouldn't lose. Oya's face changed. The expressions of Chen Tianfei and the others changed. They all rushed to stage of powder-making competition and waited to take action. The result of this alchemy competition was very obvious. Long Fei had even dropped powder tripods. How could he win? Fu Shishan's heart also secretly tensed up. Dao Ba shouted, "As long as boss loses, we will immediately create chaos." Understood. They, too, became nervous. Long Fei looked at the who had a face full of killing intent, and coldly laughed. "Ouyang Jian, if you really want to gamble your life, I can give you one more chance to choose. After all, I only want to slap your father's face, and you don't have the qualifications to make me slap your face like this. How dare you?" Ouyang Jian's eyes spewed fire as he shouted, "Long Fei, didn't you want to bet your life on this? Are you afraid now? Are you sure you want to bet?" Long Fei asked again with great interest. I will really kill you. Ouyang Jian laughed coldly, and said, Long Fei, you cannot win, the pill furnace has fallen to the ground, I want to see how you will win this round with the powder-making competition. Not just him. Everyone in the entire elixir martial arts branch, including everyone in the plaza, believed that Long Fei would definitely lose. Under these circumstances, it was impossible for him to refine any pellets. Even the 8 Fairy Hall Elders were the same. How could he possibly succeed? No matter how powerful the alchemy was, it was impossible. However, the corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up into a cold smile, and said, Since you want to die that much, then I can only grant your wish. At this time, Long Fei's heart relaxed. I'm finally done condensing. Because, just now, he had heard the system beep. It was only when the system beep resounded that this pellet could be considered as completed. The Long Fei earlier had been stalling for time because he wanted to give the pellet enough time to condense itself. Now it was complete. Ouyang Jian snorted, acting, others are afraid of you. I, Ouyang Jian, am not afraid of you. At this time, the 8 Fairy Hall Elders also walked over. Tier 4 immortal pills, high quality. After they had finished inspecting that alchemy disciple's medicinal pellets, the 8 of them walked to Long Fei's side and said, Your pellets. Just as the Fairy Hall Elder finished speaking, Ouyang Jian started laughing complacently, and said, Elder, the powder tripod have all fallen to the ground, is there any possibility of succeeding? Long Fei, you lost. Give me your life. As soon as he finished, Ouyang Jian's sword flew out, the powerful spirit qi around his body pouncing forward. Try touching my boss. Chen Tianfei roared. Song Qianqian also anxiously rushed forward. Everyone's heart tightened. At this time, Long Fei did not bother about Ouyang Jian making a move. Instead, he bent his body slightly, helped the green dragon medicine tripod up, and said to the Fairy Hall Elder, The pellet is inside the powder tripod. As soon as he finished, the aura of one of the Fairy Hall Elders instantly suppressed Ouyang Jian. A few other Fairy Hall Elders walked up and one of them picked up a pill. After stopping for half a second, he said, Grade 4 immortal pills. Exquisite quality. Long Fei wins. At this moment, everyone was stunned. Ouyang Jian's eyes darkened and his body trembled fiercely. Impossible, impossible, impossible. There must be a mistake. The pill he refined is obviously a waste. How can it be successful? How can I concoct an immortal pill within a minute? I don't believe it, I don't believe it. You guys are biased. Ouyang Jian stared at the 8 Fairy Hall Elders and said, You two are in cahoots with Long Fei. I don't believe that the powder tripod have fallen to the ground and cannot be successfully refined. Humph. A Fairy Hall Elder snorted, You dare doubt me? His voice was like thunder. As he was crushed, Ouyang Jian's face immediately flushed red, and she was unable to even breathe loudly. Ouyang Jian immediately realized that he had said something that he shouldn't have said, and said, No, no, I don't dare. Master, I only said that it is impossible for him to refine pills. The pill's ratio to the spirit grass he used just now isn't wrong, it's impossible for him to exchange it for pills. I don't know how he did it, but in this competition of powder-making competition, he won. The immortal pill elder found it hard to believe. However, the truth was the truth, even if he didn't believe it. Suddenly, right at the moment when Ouyang Jian was about to be crushed by the Fairy Hall Elder, Long Fei roared in his heart, 7th level unparalleled, open. Boom, boom, boom. The energy in his body exploded forth continuously. His right hand moved, Dragon Salia, Wang. Asterisk when the 103,000 Jin Dragon Salia landed in his hands, his right hand sank and his arm was in extreme pain. Long Fei immediately endured it, both hands holding onto the blade as he slashed at Ouyang Jian's head ruthlessly, Give me your life. Ouyang Jian screamed at the top of his lungs, Long Fei, stop right there. The majesty of the heavens came crashing down. Boom. The 7th level of the Golden Immortal stage was extremely powerful. However, Ouyang Jian did not think that Long Fei would suddenly attack, nor did he think that would dare to attack. Stop. Ha ha ha. I'm willing to admit defeat. Long Fei did not stop his hands in the slightest as he slashed down at Ouyang Jian, his strength slashing across the sky. The black dragon was enraged. Dragon slaying slash. No matter if it was reaction, strength, defense, or speed, Ouyang Jian was all being crushed. Right now, he was just like an ordinary person. Seeing the dragon Salia fall from the sky, his face suddenly turned pale and he screamed, "Ah!" Crack. Chapter 933, Breaking Through the Seal's Giant Demon. Chapter 933, Breaking Through the Seal's Giant Demon. The saber slashed down and the head rolled down, fresh blood spurting out from the wound. Fresh blood splattered onto Long Fei's face. The entire audience was in an uproar. Ouyang Jian trembled, his eyes trembling. The moment his son's head was chopped off, his entire body was trembling, and the anger in his heart could no longer be controlled, and he had completely lost his reason. Die. It erupted. It was a complete burst. Staring at his son being killed, he could no longer hold back his anger. Boom. The power from Ouyang Jian's body let out a thunderous roar, and he leapt into the air, his body covering the sun as he emitted a golden light. It wasn't the golden light of the boss. It was the golden light emitted by his immortal foundation. It was incomparably powerful. Both of his eyes were like a black hole, his entire being had fallen into a state of chi deviation, his voice was gloomy as he stared at Long Fei, "Die." As soon as he finished, Ouyang Jian smashed down heavily with heavenly might. "Boss, be careful. Young Master Long, be careful." Long Fei, Song Qianqian and the others all rushed to stage of powder-making competition. Dao Ba suddenly stood up and shouted, "Brothers, attack." Right at this moment of life and death, Long Fei retracted all of the aura on his body. He didn't have any intention of defending, but said to the Fairy Hall Elder, "Elder, shouldn't you take action to protect me?" The 8 Fairy Hall Elders looked at Long Fei. At the same time, they received instructions in their minds. And then, one of the Fairy Hall Elders raised his eyes, his eyebrows shook, and shouted loudly, "Enough." Buzz. The aura from his body was like a wild beast that had opened its bloody mouth, instantly swallowing Ouyang Jian's aura and at the same time, crushing Ouyang Jian with another powerful aura. Bam! Ouyang Jian was immediately smashed to the ground. 2 auras. The 7th stage Golden Immortal stage Green Dragon Hegemon were instantly destroyed, and did not even make a move. If he did, Ouyang Jian would probably be killed instantly. It was the same Golden Immortal rank. Ordinary Golden Immortal rank and Palace Question of God's Golden Immortal rank were completely different, and were completely different levels. Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock in his heart. Damn, this is too abnormal. In the past, he did not know, but now, Long Fei knew very clearly in his heart. If it was him, if he did not use the turn Yang Long into God, then it would not be a match for the Palace Question of God's Golden Immortal rank at all. If it was a Yuanxian realm, if it was a fitted realm, then probably. Long Fei secretly tensed up. So powerful. My level is still too low, I am unable to unleash the power of my skill. Be it Buddha Palm technique or Super Saiyang mode, I am unable to unleash all of my power. This is because of the limitations of my level. Huff. Long Fei let out a heavy sigh in his heart. These Fairy Hall Elder are only the underlings of Supreme God. How strong are they? How strong are the clan elders of the Outer Space Palace? Thinking of this, Long Fei's scalp turned numb. I'm still not strong enough. I have to become stronger. Long Fei secretly tensed up. At this time, one of the Fairy Hall Elders took a step forward and landed beside Ouyang Jian. A wave of energy cleansed and crushed the devil aura on Ouyang Jian's body, and he said faintly, "Don't mess with young Master Pan Sheng's plans, or else, you will die too." The voice was very heavy. Ouyang Jian didn't have the slightest choice. At the same time, Fairy Hall Elder let out a sigh of relief and said faintly, "After this year's academy competition, in view of your son's death, we will consider giving you the position of dean. The condition is that you have to be obedient. Do you understand?" The Fairy Hall Elder turned around and left after he finished speaking. As for what they said, no one heard them. However, Long Fei felt that their expressions were a little different. At least, when Long Fei asked them to protect him, Their expressions were a little unnatural. This made him suspicious. Were they sent by the Supreme God to protect him? F***ck. Whatever. Long Fei steeled himself in his heart and pretended to be terrified, saying, "It's all thanks to the Elder's protection." Thank you, thank you." While they were talking, Long Fei did not care about whether they agreed to it or not, and directly held their hands and said, "Thank you." At the same time, he continued to cast his skills. Nothing. The 8 Fairy Hall Elders looked at Long Fei, who seemed to be scared to the point of peeing, and all of them laughed coldly in their hearts, but they also did not feel that there was anything wrong with their bodies. Long Fei's arms were in extreme pain. However, but now, his heart was cheering out loud, "Ha ha ha. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Holy Token Question of God. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Immortal Crystal. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Holy Token Question of God." The system continuously rang out. Amongst the 8 of them, Long Fei had stolen a total of 4 Holy Token Question of Goddess as well as a dozen or so Immortal Crystals. The idea entered the 18 layers of hell and said softly, "Gravity Troll, now is the time to break through all of the seal's chains." Boom. Boom. 2 Holy Token Question of God landed beside the Gravity Troll. The Gravity Troll's eyes opened wide as it grinned excitedly, and said, "Thank you, Master Holy Token Question of God." Possessing a special kind of power, it was able to unlock the seal's chains. Lei Mo said excitedly, "Master, when will you release the seal on me? I'm almost suffocating." Long Fei said, "No need to be anxious. There are 2 Holy Token Question of God here, take them." Long Fei became excited. There was a giant demon at every level of the 18th floor of hell. There were only 2 trolls now. There were still 16 devils who had yet to return to their positions. However, Long Fei was not worried, because they would all appear sooner or later and let him finish repairing this 18 levels of hell. At that time, he would definitely be able to transform in hell. The 18 hells of hell itself was a super spiritual treasure. If he were to completely repair it, what kind of existence would it be? It was hard to imagine. The Gravity Troll absorbed the 2 Holy Token Question of God and said lightly, "Master, give me a few hours." Long Fei said, "No rush." At this moment, Ouyang Zhon stood up from the ground, stared coldly at Long Fei with his 2 eyes, then turned and left. Long Fei's heart trembled again. What exactly did they just said that allowed Ouyang Zhon to crush the pain of his son's death? Could it be? Long Fei had a feeling that tomorrow's competition would be extremely dangerous. Yesterday and today were probably just the prelude to the storm. The real storm will come tomorrow. This ominous feeling became more and more intense. Long Fei became nervous on the inside. "I want to find a place to level up." Chapter 934 Men's Commitments. Chapter 934 Men's Commitments. Green Dragon Troopers wins. In the arena, the 5 from Green Dragon Troopers used less than half a minute to sweep through their opponents. Furthermore, they were all heavily injured, and did not give their opponents any chance to retaliate. At the same time, they also gave them a chance to turn the situation around. No matter how many substitutes a team had, they wouldn't be able to do so. If all 5 of their main team members were crippled, the team would lose the chance to turn the situation around. As he was walking down the arena, the captain of the Green Dragon Troopers stared coldly at Song Qianqian and the others. His eyes were filled with coldness. So powerful. As expected of the first team. To be able to finish the battle in half a minute, it's as easy as pulling rotten weeds out of the ground. This year's champion is very popular. Green Dragon Troopers will definitely continue to be the champion. That might not be the case. There are still the other 3 big college of martial arts training teams. Also, this year's Arrogant Dragon Squad is out of the ordinary. There might be a chance this time. The Arrogant Dragon Squad is indeed strong, and every person has their own unique strength. However, you all seem to have forgotten one thing, that Long Fei is also participating in the alchemy competition, and if he is unable to participate, the Arrogant Dragon Squad is definitely not a match for the Green Dragon Troopers. Your analysis is not bad. At this moment, Xianwu battle team wins. The Black Tortoise battle team was different from the Green Dragon Troopers. Although the Green Dragon Troopers only used half a minute to win, the Black Tortoise battle team used an entire hour. But the results were all the same. When their opponent was crippled, Green Dragon Troopers would cripple him, but when the opponent was the Black Tortoise Guild, they would cripple themselves and prevent them from taking the initiative to attack. He directly and forcefully drained his opponent to death. Vermilion Bird battle team wins. Let's move on to the next round. The members of the Vermilion Bird battle team walked out of the stage and looked at Song Qianqian's arrogant dragon squad, ridiculing him in their eyes. 4 hours later. Tomorrow's top 4 teams are out. Green Dragon Troopers has 9 points, and his entire body is filled with point. Vermilion Bird Squadron, 8 points, give up 1 match. Team Black Tortoise got 7 points. Give up on 2 matches. Arrogant Dragon Squad has 6 points, give up on 3 matches. 4 teams, we are looking forward to tomorrow's finals. The referee loudly announced. Under Long Fei's special instructions, Arrogant Dragon Squad gave up on 3 matches. They were respectively competing against Black Tortoise, Vermilion Bird, and Azure Dragon. The other matches were all won. It was not because Long Fei did not want to fight with them. But, right now, the Arrogant Dragon Squad's strength was not enough to defeat them. Chen Tianfei had not recovered his strength and it was difficult for him to use his divine armor as well. However, none of this was a problem. As long as he could enter the semifinals, he wouldn't have to be afraid of having the qualifications to enter the finals. However, what drew everyone's attention was that every member of the Arrogant Dragon Squad would consume 2 things during the competition, a crystal core and a medicinal pill. After the 2 things entered their body, their cultivation instantly soared. Under Fu Shishan's deliberate guidance, many people were discussing, what did they take? That thing seems very special. It looks like battle pills medicine. Instantaneous cultivation increase, this is too strong. Just what kind of pill is it? Is there such a pill? The discussions became more and more intense. Be it the consortia, families, or some warriors, even the disciples of the God Emperor Academy were asking around about what the people of the Arrogant Dragon Squad were eating. Everything was going according to Long Fei's plan. Fu Shishan also borrowed Long Fei's influence to start crazily stirring up new power. At the same time, the elders of the drug race, in accordance to the reverse alchemy technique that Long Fei taught them, frantically refined the Destiny Changer, and a pill that would change the fate of the gods' martial continent appeared. Long Fei wins, enter the finals. As soon as his voice faded, the entire audience was in an uproar. He really is powerful. He's simply the strongest ruler among all of alchemy. The worst quality pills he can concoct. God's martial continent's #1 alchemy powerhouse. Just as everyone was discussing about this, Long Fei's voice sank as he said loudly, all of you are speculating about what kind of pill Arrogant Dragon Squad is taking? Tomorrow. I will refine it in the finals tomorrow. This pill will change the fate of God's martial continent. Let's wait and see. Finished. Long Fei did not explain any further. This kind of thing was best left in suspense, only then would there be room for imagination. A medicinal pellet that could change the fate of God's martial continent. These words were too exaggerated. Many alchemy grandmasters disdained it. The ancestral dragon pellet that Long Fei refined was above the 9 dragon pill, but it did not say it would change the fate of the gods' martial continent. What pill could be stronger than a 9 dragon pill? Long Fei's words caused a huge uproar. The discussions about the Destiny Changer became even more intense. Many people doubted Long Fei's words, and many people believed it, but even more people were trying to guess what kind of pill Long Fei would refine. God Emperor Academy. Everyone in the God Emperor city, and even all the people in the entire immortal domain, were discussing, just what kind of pill was Long Fei refining tomorrow? Sister Yun Shan, how are the preparations for the Destiny Changer? After a day of competition, Fu Shishan and the others had to return to the God Emperor city. Long Fei dared to ask them before they left the mountain. Fu Shishan said softly, everything is going according to your plan. All victories. All right. You came to the competition tomorrow. Long Fei suddenly made a decision and turned to the Black Knife uncle. After the competition tomorrow, I will definitely launch an attack on you first. You two stay behind to protect the Fengyuan Business Alliance. Whoever dares to even touch a single one of you, kill. The Black Knife nodded heavily and said, understood. Long Fei was very clear that since the Pan family was always in the shadows, he had to make a thorough plan. There must be no loopholes. This time. He wanted to pull up Pan family by the roots. He wanted to explode the Pan Gu axe. Yuna said, Big brother Long Fei, then you must be careful yourself. Long Fei lightly touched Yuna's head, and said with a smile, Yuna, don't worry. Big brother Long Fei is unrivaled. Once I settle God Emperor Academy's matters, I will think of a way to heal your eyes. This was what Long Fei promised the Black Knife. Even if the Black Knife wasn't his arrogant knife King Kong, Long Fei would still do it. Because this was a man's promise to a man. Even if he died, Long Fei would finish it. Yuna giggled and said, Big brother Long Fei, I'm already used to it. I'm fine, you can take care of your matters peacefully. She was optimistic. Once flowers, plants, and trees, blue sky and white clouds could not be seen, in the dark world who could get used to it? Even if they were used to it, who wouldn't yearn to see light? Long Fei smiled lightly. Yuna's eyes are more important than anything. Yuna, even if I gave you my eyes, I would make you see the light again. The Black Knife clenched his fists tightly. There was no expression on his face, but his heart was moved. Chapter 935, God Emperor Fairyland. Chapter 935, God Emperor Fairyland. Late at night. Long Fei arrived at Qiu Wandao's courtyard. At this moment, Dao Feng, Wang Qingshan, and Zheng Qingsong walked out of the ruin's secret room. Their faces were completely red with excitement. Seeing Long Fei, the three of them walked forward. Young Master Long, Long Fei said, have you recovered? Dao Feng said excitedly, I've recovered, I'm stronger than I was 3 days ago. The auras on their bodies were very thick, and it could be seen that they had become stronger compared to 3 days ago. This was all because of the effect of Qiu Wandao's secret training. It was also because of the change that Long Fei had brought to their destiny changer. In just 3 short days, the destiny changer had shown too much effect. Long Fei was even more certain in his heart that the destiny changer could change the gods' martial continent, or even the world. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, that's good, it's your turn tomorrow. Zheng Qingsong was extremely excited, and said, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Long Fei said, you all will be resting at logistics department for the night, I still have some matters to discuss with him. After Dao Feng and the others left, Qiu Wandao walked over and smiled, kid, the people you're looking for all have good innate skills, this is just secondary, the key thing is that they all dare to fight and train as hard as they can, this is something very rare, although talent is important, but from them, I can see that hard work is most important. And the destiny changer you gave me, this kind of pill is really too heaven-defying. Even Qiu Wandao had to be shocked. He was once the dean, so what kind of pill had he not seen before? However, the destiny changer's effect surpassed all pills, and was a type of supporting pill that could change a warrior's life. Just as Long Fei had said, it could change this world's pills. Long Fei understood the attributes of destiny changer very well. However, he could not try out the specific effects because his body was different from a normal martial artist's. He could not train like an ordinary martial artist. After obtaining the result from Dao Feng and the others, this pill was even better than he had expected. As long as this pill entered the market, there would be no god's martial continent left. Long Fei laughed and said, Presbyter Qiu, God's martial continent is very weak. I have read through secret history before, and in the past 10 million years, there hasn't been a single powerhouse that managed to ascend. All of them have died of old age due to longevity restrictions, turning into a pile of loess. Although I am not that great, I still want to change a little. Even a little is fine. Initially, Long Fei only wanted to make money using the Destiny Pellet, but since the effect of the Destiny Pellet was this strong, then his ambition would be even bigger. Alright, Qiu Wandao's expression was very excited, and said, if only every alchemy master could think like you did, then this pellet would definitely bring a different future for God's martial continent. Brat, you are really different. Long Fei laughed. In his heart, he was actually still thinking about earning money. Save the God's martial continent. That was just in passing. He needed a large number of fairy stones to nurture the Hell Core. And then, Long Fei asked, Presbyter Chiu, are there any high-level secret worlds? The more demon beast, the better it is. He wanted to level up. He wanted to break through. What happened in the martial arts arena today made him feel that it wasn't as simple as he thought. Just whose are the 8 Fairy Hall Elders? Why had Pan Zhong never been excited at all when he had been sitting so steadily like a mountain? All of these made Long Fei uneasy. He previously thought that the Supreme God was helping him, but now that he thought about it, he felt that something wasn't right. No matter what. Only if you're strong enough, you can crush everything. The reason why Long Fei came here tonight was so that he could break through again, level himself up, and become even stronger. Facing the powerhouse of the Golden Immortal rank, his strength was insufficient. Qiu Wandao looked at Long Fei's serious expression and said, Do you know why I have been living here all this time? Even if I am chased away by the God Emperor Academy and chased away by the Palace Question of God, I still won't leave. Even though I'm in ruins right now, I've never thought of leaving. Long Fei shook his head and said, I don't know. Could it be that there is some secret hidden here? The old man from the Qing Yun sect smiled, We are protecting the God Emperor Fairyland. Heh! Long Fei's heart trembled, and said, God Emperor Fairyland? Moreover, this was the first time Long Fei had heard of this secret world. In the history of the God Emperor Academy, this name had never appeared before. Qiu Wandao slightly said, God Emperor Fairyland, even those people from Palace Question of God do not know about this. God Emperor Academy, God Emperor City, or even. Qiu Wandao looked at the pitch-black sky. What was in the sky? Outer Space Palace, Palace Question of God. Qiu Wandao did not continue, and said, This secret world has hitherto been the strongest in the God's martial continent, and the first person he discovered was your father. My father? Long Fei was secretly shocked in his heart, and asked, What exactly is inside the God Emperor Fairyland? There must be something very important about them. Qiu Wandao shook his head and said, I don't know, I think only your father knows what's inside. He went in once, but came out in a short half a minute, and from then on, he never went in again, and he never told me either. However, he once said that if you were to enter, he wanted us to open the secret world for you. As he said this, Qiu Wandao looked at elderly in green, and their hearts suddenly filled with shock. He suddenly understood that everything was as if he had arranged for it several years ago. How did their master know that Long Fei was going to enter at that time? Could this be the Long family's great prophecy? Huff! Qiu Wandao exhaled deeply in his heart, and silently said, Long family is too mysterious. He thought that he understood his master Long Zhanting very well. But now, they discovered that what they understood was probably just the tip of the iceberg. The people of the Long family were much more powerful and mysterious than they had imagined. They were an existence that they could not see through at all. The calamity of the Long family. The calamity of the Dragon Domain. Long family's decadence for the past millions of years seemed to be. It wasn't like how it looked on the surface, as if everything was hiding something. What was it? No one knew. I am afraid the person who is most clear on this is Long Zhanting. Huff! Long Fei exhaled heavily, and said, Presbyter Chiu, I want to enter the God Emperor Fairyland. Qiu Wandao's brows tightened, and said, Little master, although master told me to let you in if you wanted to, it will definitely be very dangerous inside. Do you want to wait until you become stronger before going in? They were all worried. That year, when Long Zhanting entered the Fitted Realm, he was blasted out half a minute later. Long Fei said, I don't have time now. Tomorrow is the last day of the academy competition, I have to go all out. Presbyter Chiu. Open the God Emperor Fairyland. Chapter 936 Entering the Secret World. Chapter 936 Entering the Secret World. Regardless of what was in the God Emperor Fairyland, what Long Fei needed the most right now was to level up. Only by leveling up would his power become stronger. Tomorrow was the final day of the academy competition. He had a feeling that something was definitely going to happen. The president of the 18 matrial halls would cause trouble. Sky-separating clan knew how to cause trouble. Even Supreme Goddess of the Palace Question of God could cause trouble for him, and these were all unknown. The only thing he could do was himself, to constantly make himself stronger. Long Fei looked at Qiu Wandao seriously and said, "Presbyter Qiu, activate it for me." He had no choice. There wasn't enough time to go somewhere else, so he could only enter the secret worlds that were special. Qiu Wandao loosened his fists and said, "All right, follow us." The three of them jumped into the ruined secret room. Then he came to a wall carved with dragons. 9 dragons drama beads. The dragon sculpture on Long Fei's wall resonated strongly within his heart, as if this powerful scene had appeared at some point in time. Very familiar. Long Fei thought slightly, could it be that the God Emperor Fairyland is related to the dragon race as well? God Emperor Fairyland doesn't even know about the people from the Palace Question of God. Could it be that the dragon tail tomb is hiding inside? Or could it be hide a certain dragon ancestor? Long Fei was a little excited in his heart. As long as he saw a dragon, Long Fei would naturally link the dragon race together. If he could open the dragon tail tomb, then he would only have his last dragon claw. The equipment is ready. Qiu Wandao and the elderly in green both stood to the side, facing the middle of the 9 dragons, which were also on the left and right side of the flame-like bead. The two of them exerted their strength at the same time. The power of Celestial was surging. Long Fei was stunned by the scene before him. The stone bead actually began to heat up, turning into a crimson red, and finally, it began to burn like a fire pearl. The whole dragon-carved wall seemed to want to come to life as well. It was extremely lifelike. Moreover, their bodies were gently moving and writhing, causing one to feel fear in their hearts. Buzz. A powerful force enveloped Long Fei. Swoosh. The moment the force was retracted, before Long Fei could have any reaction, it was instantly sucked away and disappeared from where he was standing. Qiu Wandao and elderly in green withdrew their powers. Looking at the slowly dimming wall, Qiu Wandao said lightly, "Young master, be careful in everything you do." Elderly in green asked, "Old bastard, what exactly is inside?" Qiu Wandao said, "You don't know, and I'm sure you don't know, but do you think I know more than you do? There's one thing I'm sure you don't know." Elderly in green was interested. "What?" Qiu Wandao looked at the wall and said gently, "Only the people from the Long family can enter this wall. Could it be the dragon domain?" Elderly in green was startled. Disappeared. Why did it disappear? Palace Question of God, in the secret room of the Supreme God. His expression was somewhat anxious, because Long Fei's figure suddenly disappeared in the great void mirror. It was completely out of his sight, causing his heart to thump hard. The God's martial continent still doesn't have any place that the great void mirror can't reach. How did Long Fei suddenly disappear? Where did you go? Long Fei was very important to him. It was his only hope, and he was growing more and more convinced that Long Fei was the prophet's son. But now, it had disappeared. The center of Supreme God's brows tightened as her idea moved. Half a second later, 19 phantoms stood in the secret room and respectfully said, "Supreme God, you summoned me late at night. Is there something urgent?" The Supreme God said, "Search for Qiu Wandao's residence immediately. You must find Long Fei for me. Once it was locked on by the Great Void Mirror, the dead zone would not be able to escape. Unless he was dead." The Supreme God was very worried. After looking forward to so many years, Long Fei was already very close to the dragon domain. He could not just die like this. If he died, his master would also die. As for him, he would also die. Long Fei could not die, at least for now. 19 immediately said, "Disciple understands." Supreme God said, "Immediately go investigate. Remember not to be discovered by Qiu Wandao and the others." In another place. God Emperor City, Pan family. Pan Zhong's face was flushed red, with a smile on his face. He looked at Pan Sheng who was in the hall and could not help but become excited. "The higher you stand, the more painful it will be falling. Let him reach the highest point, and then ruthlessly trample him to death. Only then will we be able to show the power of our Pan family." Hi, hi, hi. It really is high. The higher-ups of Pan family gathered in secret. Pan Sheng was wearing a black cloak. He, who should have left the palace question of God tomorrow, came down tonight. Pan Sheng smiled. Uncle Pan Zhon, this time I will not let him escape, I will trample him on the stage, and I will definitely take revenge for Pan family. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. All the higher-ups of the Pan family in the hall started laughing. Young master, what is your cultivation level now? Why can't I sense your cultivation level? Could it be that you have already surpassed the golden immortal rank? An elder asked. Everyone looked at Pan Sheng. They were all the same, unable to sense Pan Sheng's current realm of martial arts training. There were only two possibilities. One reason was because he had a spirit treasure that could conceal his cultivation realm. The other method was that the difference in cultivation between the two was too great, so much that one would not be able to sense the aura of the powerhouse. Pan Sheng smiled faintly and said, "You will know tomorrow. Long Fei. Just you wait and see how I'll kill you." Both of Pan Sheng's fists clenched slightly as a hint of a cold smile emerged on his face. One of the clan elders asked, "Great clan elder, should we take care of the Fengyuan Business Alliance?" These 2 days, Fengyuan Business Alliance's actions were very ordinary. Furthermore, because of the glory of the God Emperor Academy, the Fengyuan Business Alliance that they had previously suppressed on the ground and could not climb back up once again entered everyone's field of vision. Right now, many people were discussing about the Fengyuan Business Alliance. The corner of Pan Zhon's mouth curled up as he said in disdain, "There's no need. Once Long Fei dies, Fengyuan Business Alliance will disappear along with him. There's no need to worry." One of the elders asked, "Then what about the pill that Long Fei refined?" Pan Zhon said, "A pill refined by a dead person will be useless no matter how good it is. Humph, if he doesn't have a life, I want to see how he will change the world." Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. In the main hall of Pan family, loud laughter rang out. Pan family did not attack him. Because Long Fei was the center of everything. As long as they destroyed him, everything would collapse on its own. No one could stop the Pan family's footsteps. No one. After Pan Zhon saw Pan Sheng had already metamorphosed over half a year ago, and he now believed even more that Long Fei could not resist against her. Tomorrow, he would definitely die. In another place. In the God Emperor Fairyland. As Long Fei looked at everything before him, his eyes revealed extreme shock. Even his voice was somewhat shaky as he muttered to himself, This is the God Emperor Fairyland. Chapter 937 Special Systems, Skill Exchange. Chapter 937 Special Systems, Skill Exchange Graveyard, large and small. Many names were written on the tombstone. The tomb of the Heaven Marshal Immortal Wu Ao Tian. Wu Ao Tian, 3rd level of the Soaring Sky Realm, 486 years old, current number 1 powerhouse, failed his tribulation. Walk alone to the tomb of the 10,000 ghosts. Ghost WN2, 4th level of the Soaring Sky Realm, 477 years old, failure to transcend the tribulation. The tomb of the Celestial Arrogant Lord. Meng Fang, 6th level of the Soaring Sky Realm, 494 years old, number 1 madman in the Magic Tribe, failed to transcend the tribulation. Each tombstone recorded a person's name, cultivation level, and age at which he lived. These were all different. The only similarity between them was that they had all died from the failure of transcending tribulation. It was all because he failed his tribulation. Long Fei looked at each and every one of them, and his scalp started to turn numb. Failure to pass the tribulation, are all failure to pass the tribulation, and they are all super giant powerhouse of the Soaring Sky Realm. Long Fei looked up and saw that they were all tombs as far as the eye could see. He was overwhelmed with shock as he muttered, "It's too scary that so many Soaring Sky Realm powerhouse have appeared in the God's Martial Continent. But the heavenly tribulation is even more terrifying." It was hard to imagine. Long Fei was completely flabbergasted by what he saw. He thought that the necropolis of the God's Martial Continent's powerhouse had been stolen by the Rage Spirit Clan. He never thought that the tomb stolen by the Rage Spirit Clan was only the tip of the iceberg. Even worse. If these powerhouses' corpses were dug out and absorbed, what would happen? Long Fei's heart trembled. However, he did not think of doing so. He couldn't absorb it either. The Rage Spirit Clan's cultivation method was very unique. Long Fei could not learn it. Long Fei continuously went deeper into the cemetery, continuously searching. He felt it was very strange. Why is there not a single person with the surname of Long? Isn't the Long family's calamity the heavenly tribulation? Long Fei suspected that it was heavenly tribulation. However, he did not see any names of people from the Long family's. The deeper they went, the more the cemetery seemed endless. The deeper they went, the higher the cultivation level of the dead became, and the older they were. However, they were all killed by the heavenly tribulation before the age of 500. This also let Long Fei know that the limit of a warrior's life was 500 years. It was the limit of the soaring sky realm. If you can't succeed in transcending the tribulation, you'll either die of old age or be killed. Even after walking for more than an hour, Long Fei was still unable to see the end of it. Moreover, Long Fei did not sense any aura at all. It was completely different from what Qiu Wandao said. This place was not dangerous at all. Long Fei muttered, "What's the use of running to a dead person's location? Without demon beast and monsters, how am I supposed to level up?" While they were talking, Long Fei was a little angry. He used a little bit of strength in one kick and kicked over a tombstone. He was stunned for a moment, then immediately said, I'm sorry, I really shouldn't have." Just as Long Fei was talking, the grave where Long Fei kicked the tombstone began to crack. A powerful aura surged out, causing Long Fei's face to tremble. He was not afraid, but instead excited a little, and thought to himself, could it be that all the dangers are in these tombs? Boom! With a loud explosion, the tomb exploded. A person rushed out from the tomb as he shouted, "A little thief actually dared to trespass into the God Emperor's tomb?" The man's hair was as red as blood. His entire body was suffused with a dense demonic aura and was incomparably savage. Beside him stood a sword, a large sword burning with demonic flames. Moreover, his eyes stared at Long Fei, and instantly crushed Long Fei. Long Fei glanced at the name on the tombstone and said faintly, "Dugu Qiubai, you're the sword demon?" This is the characters in the novels. Long Fei was a little confused, but when he saw the groove on the sword demon's head, he laughed and said, "Sword demon, right? I really don't want to disturb your sleep, but I can only let you down if I want to level up." As soon as he finished, Long Fei roared in his heart, "Level 7 peerless, open." The powerful force broke through the pressure. Long Fei's right hand moved, and the dragon Salya dropped down, slashing at the sword demon. Boom! The bloody wound on the sword demon's head instantly disappeared. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying 9th grade Virtual Immortals' sword demon. Reward, 1,500 experience points, 10 power of celestial and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining skill redemption point +1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special system, skills exchange system. This time, Long Fei was really a little confused. Dugu Qiubai's sword demon had actually been chopped to death by his saber. How could he not be dazed? It was clearly written on the tombstone that he was of the 8th level of the soaring sky realm. This kind of supergiant powerhouse could crush him with a single finger, but he actually killed him in an instant. Something doesn't seem right. Long Fei was shocked. He immediately opened up the system and checked, Virtual Immortals level 9? That's impossible. The tombstone clearly has the rank 9 flying heaven. Could it be that the tombstone recorded wrongly? Skill exchange system? What is this? During the process of Long Fei's upgrade, the system was also continuously evolving and improving. From time to time, it would trigger new functions of the system, which was also a very normal thing. However, the exchange system had already appeared before, but that was points exchange. This time, it was the skill exchange. Long Fei checked it. Special system, skill exchange system function, exchange all skills, skill leveling vouchers. Special hint, The special system is random, it can only trigger once for 12 hours. After the time ends, the system disappears. Ding. Would you like to view the exchange skill? Check it out. Long Fei replied. The interface in his mind changed, and many different types of skills and cultivation techniques appeared. They were all skills that Long Fei was extremely familiar with. The blood wheel aperture in the shadow of fire. Is this also a skill? Rachel? Reincarnation? Damn, there are also demon fruits. Long Fei's heart immediately tightened and jumped too fast. The more he looked, the more his heart couldn't take it anymore. Damasha's sword of justice. Nox's big move. The ultimate move of the barbarian king. Angel's ultimate move. I can't do it, I can't do it. Long Fei held onto his heart with one hand, as blood started to roll all over the place. Damn it, this old man is going to send it. Ha ha ha. Excited, unspeakably excited. This was because these skills were either from the anime or the hero skill of the game. They were exceptionally valiant. If I can exchange for some immortal cultivation techniques, then who would I be afraid of in tomorrow's large competition? Immediately, Long Fei was so excited that he moved through the air and landed at the entrance, and said, "Let the challenge begin from the first. Bring it on. Let this daddy go to heaven." Chapter 938, This Rhythm, Awesome. Chapter 938, This Rhythm, Awesome. At first, Long Fei didn't want to be disrespectful to the dead. He was not a member of the Desolate Spirit clan, so he did not know how to steal tombs. But the appearance of the skill exchange system, as well as the fact that it only existed for 12 hours, all depended on these 12 hours of time. Long Fei did not care about the God Emperor's graveyard, where the dead were the most important. In front of benefits, they were all dog shit. The key point was, Long Fei was completely unfamiliar with these people. Not familiar? Then do it. Since they were all monsters, and the system had activated the exchange system, then what was Long Fei afraid of? One word, fuck. Long Fei hacked a tombstone apart with his blade, causing the tombstone to explode as a powerhouse rushed out. Boom! Powerhouse rushed out of his tomb, his eyes turned sinister as he stared at Long Fei and shouted, "You little thief." Without waiting for him to finish, Long Fei hacked down with his blade, "I'm your grandpa's thief." Boom! With the fall of the dragon Salia, the wound on the head of the powerhouse immediately opened up, and Long Fei killed it instantly. Ding! When the system beep rang, Long Fei looked it again in detail. It was the same as the sword demon just now, at the 9th stage of the virtual immortals. If they are all of the 9th stage of the virtual immortals, then I will fight 100 of them. The aura on Long Fei's body moved, and the dragon Salia in his hand released a blazing flame that cut horizontally. Bang, bang, bang. Over 100 tombstones had been destroyed by Long Fei. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, powerhouse after another rushed out from their tombs, standing in the air as they shouted, little thief. I was King blind, I have no time. Hell core, come out. Long Fei did not want to waste even a second of time, he did not want to cultivate now, he wanted experience now, and skill redemption point. What do you mean by relying on your own strength? Boss. 1,000 ghost soldiers stood in front of Long Fei. Compared to a month ago, these ghost soldiers had become much stronger, to the point where 1 or 2 of them had already broken through to the blood immortal stage. In this period of time, these ghost soldiers felt as if they were celebrating the new year. Not only could it absorb the energy from the immortal crystals to cultivate, it could also absorb the energy from the variant crystal nuclei. Under the guidance of the Yang Huang ancestor, their progress was extremely fast. Long Fei said excitedly, "Blast all these so-called powerhouses to pieces." Hellcore stood up and shouted, then rushed towards the 100 over powerhouses like a torrent of ferocious beasts. Long Fei was not idle. The dragon Salia continued to sweep across, chopping apart large areas of tombstones, and large areas of powerhouse rushing out from their tombs. Kill. The dragon Salia in Long Fei's hand moved, hurricane cut. Shua. The dragon Salia raised it and a strong gust of wind swept out, directly blowing a large part of the powerhouse into the air. Dragon chop. 1000 / whoosh whoosh whoosh. Asterisk dragon slaying dancing in the air. Long Fei also crazily danced in the air as he crazily killed his way through. The scene was extremely eye-catching. At the same time Long Fei killed the 1,000 ghost soldiers, their power exploded forth. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for slaying Virtual Immortals' 9th stage powerhouse for 1500 experience, 10 power of celestial and 1 energy values. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining skill redemption point +1. Nothing had been dropped, only a small amount of experience and skill redemption point. However, what Long Fei wanted was skill redemption point. The system frantically sounded out. 10 minutes later. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing first rank powerhouse of the Blood Immortal stage for obtaining 3000 experience, 20 power of celestial, and 1 ability point. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining skill redemption point +2. Suddenly, Long Fei immediately checked and found a problem. Just now, he had killed 100 of the 9th stage Virtual Immortals' powerhouse S. In other words, the challenge of the 9th stage of the Virtual Immortals had ended. These powerhouse S cultivations were now 1 level higher than the first stage of the Blood Immortal. In order to confirm this, Long Fei continuously killed them as he thought in his heart. As expected, the 100 powerhouse S advanced to the same level. Their experience, power of celestial, and skill redemption point were all increased by multiple fold. Ha ha ha! This endless cemetery is my heaven. Long Fei became even more excited. God Emperor Fairyland. It was a special existence. Long Fei himself was at the 9th stage of the Virtual Immortals, so from the first powerhouse to the first powerhouse, he would be at the 9th stage. As he succeeded in his challenge, the level of the powerhouse would continue to increase. Who? Long Fei exhaled a long breath, and said, "Come." His aura exploded, Sky Tyrant strike. Rumble. Long Fei arrogantly crashed into the group of powerhouse people, causing them all to fly into the air. The first stage of the Blood Immortal stage was 1 level higher than Long Fei. However, Long Fei still killed him instantly. 15 minutes later. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Blood Immortal 2nd stage powerhouse for obtaining 6000 experience, 40 power of celestial and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining skill redemption point +4. Ha ha ha! It's getting more and more fun. With a lot of experience and skill redemption point, Long Fei became even more crazy. 2nd level Blood Immortal, still able to kill him in an instant. Boom, boom, boom. 1 hour later. These powerhouse were already at the 5th stage of the Blood Immortal stage. At this point, they were no longer able to withstand the attacks of these powerhouse. Long Fei also kept them. They were not invincible here, and the powerhouse could see their bodies. Rumble. With a loud noise, a large piece of the tombstone was blasted apart. Long Fei did not stop there, he continued to destroy the tombstones. Behind him, more and more powerhouse came rushing forward, hundreds and thousands of them, looking exceptionally fierce. Come chase me. Hurry up and chase me. Rumble. Long Fei smashed apart another large amount of tombstones. Seeing the large wave of powerhouse behind him, his eyes lit up. It's all skill redemption point. Rumble. For an entire half an hour, Long Fei continuously smashed these tombstones to pieces, and thousands of powerhouse S in the surroundings immediately chased after his buttocks. It was also at this time. Long Fei suddenly stopped, the corner of his mouth lifted, and excitedly laughed. Little sister Fei, you can begin. Buzz. Fei flew out from the pearl. That body, that unique charm of the elves, was extremely vivid and beautiful. Fei held onto her magic staff and chanted in a low voice, "Power of thunder, listen to my call, fall for me." Rumble, rumble, rumble. Thunder rumbled as lightning wildly raged down. A round of instant kills, the blood volume above each powerhouse instantly bottomed out. Hundreds of Blood Immortal Realm powerhouse were all crippled, killed in an instant. The system beeps echoed crazily. Long Fei looked at the experience tank, which was abnormally full. This is great. Chapter 939, Gravity Troll Fire. Chapter 939, Gravity Troll Fire. Fei, another wave has arrived. Equipment. Long Fei suddenly roared. He had been chased by a large wave of powerhouse, and now, these powerhouse were about to break through the golden immortal rank. Moreover, some of the powerhouses had already reached the golden immortal rank. Long Fei could not bear it. Fei was also a little unable to endure it. Power of thunder, heed my call. Boom. The huge lightning field rumbled, and a thick bolt of lightning struck down, causing a large wave of powerhouses to be unable to take care of themselves, but they did not die instantly nor did they receive any heavy injuries. It had only lost a portion of its HP. Fei angrily said, "Master, they are too strong. I haven't even finished cultivating the power of the thunder element." About that. I'll leave first." Fei was a little depressed and unwilling, and she said fiercely in her heart, "I must become stronger." She was hit. After being attacked by these powerhouses, she thought that direct lightning was omnipotent, but now she realized how weak she was. Long Fei's heart trembled. "Fei, don't go." Fei had already been transferred into the Thunder Dragon Pearl. It was also at this time. Surrounded by hundreds of powerhouse, Long Fei stared at him with murderous eyes, as if they wanted to eat him alive. "Flee. Why aren't you running anymore? Discharge. Why aren't you continuing to discharge? Brat, I want to see where you can run to." A of the golden immortal rank gasped for breath. He was in a bad mood because of Long Fei. All the surrounding powerhouse were the same. Many of the powerhouses had their hair blown apart. Their hair was like chicken nests, and each one of them was out of the mainstream as they were in an extremely sorry state. "Run again. Die." As soon as his voice fell, everyone stood up and shouted, "Kill him." With one step, the powerhouses all stepped forward. Long Fei smirked and laughed coldly. "Kill me? Just you all? Do you all think you're amazing just because your level is high? This daddy here cannot bear to see someone who is so powerful in front of me. Very arrogant." Long Fei said in his heart, "Hellcore used it, Fei used it, now. Giant demon. The seal on you has broken through, right?" Giant demon's voice echoed from the 18 hells. "Master, I have been waiting for your summons." The gravity troll could not wait any longer. Long Fei laughed excitedly and said, "Then let me experience your power that is unrestrained. Come, let me show these super powerhouse that once ruled this world." "Yes, sir." At the same time, the powerhouse pounced towards Xiong Long Fei. Rumble. Rumble. With a series of explosions, an incomparably gigantic devil appeared beside Long Fei. With its arms wrapped with chains of seal, its eyes darkened, and a whirlpool-like aura faintly moved around its body. The moment it came out, the tombstone slowly floated up, as shattered stones floated up in the air, and even the bodies of the powerhouses seemed to be on the verge of losing control and rising into the air. Long Fei said casually, "Kill them all." The gravity troll laughed sinisterly. "Understood. 10,000 times gravity. Gravity bullet, explode." With an angered shout, the spiraling aura on his body immediately burst forth, enveloping all of the surrounding powerhouse. At this moment, all of the powerhouse's body strength was lifted, and in that instant, boom, 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 boom. One after another, their bodies exploded into fine powder. Not even their bones were left behind. Many of these powerhouses have cultivation base of golden immortal rank, but after being crushed by the gravity troll's chi, the seal was released and the gravity troll's power recovered to the peak realm. Powerful to the point of being a complete mess. Ding, 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 ding. The system beep frantically sounded, deafening, as though its eardrums were about to explode. Long Fei laughed out loud. "You want my life? Are you even worthy?" The increase in experience points by tons was only. Long Fei did not have a rank 5 immortal root yet, so he was unable to level up. However, Long Fei was not worried. Although he was restricted from leveling up, he still had a lot of experience points. As long as he fused with the Immortal Foundation, he would be able to continuously break through. It could not be upgraded, but the experience was still there. It was just that Long Fei could not obtain stronger power until he leveled up. It doesn't matter anymore. What I want is skill redemption point. Long Fei's mind was set as he roared, giant demon swipe, swipe, swipe everything here away. In the past few hours, Long Fei had swept across a large area, but compared to the entire God Emperor's graveyard, it was just the tip of the iceberg. Continue, continue. It's 38,000 skill redemption point. What demon fruit, what blood wheels If I want to exchange, I'll exchange for a set of skills from the Undying series. Long Fei didn't want anything else, he just wanted. This was the skill of the Barbarian King, 5 seconds for a real man. The gravity troll crazily swept everything. The powerhouse of the Golden Immortal rank was not his match at all. Long Fei was stunned by the gravity troll's power. He inwardly rejoiced that he had not stolen the 10 holy token question of Goddess for nothing. At the same time, Long Fei moved and said, Lei Mo. Lei Mo's eyes shook as she became excited. Master. Long Fei said, try to think of a way to break the tombstones in this cemetery as much as possible, beat as many tombstones as you can. Lei Mo didn't know what Long Fei was going to do, but he was still very excited. Understood. Be it the gravity troll or Lei Mo, they belonged to the demons in the 18 hells, and they all had a time limit on their appearance. As the time to appear on the stage increased from the original 5 minutes to 15 minutes, it became too short for Long Fei. Right now, he needed experience too much, and skills and exchange value too much. If their time was up, Long Fei would probably have to pay an extremely heavy price to kill any one of the powerhouse. Thus, he had to think of a good countermeasure, a strategy at all cost. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Golden Immortal Stage Level 4 Powerhouse for obtaining 160,000 experience, 1200 power of celestial points, and 1 energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining skill redemption point plus 64 points. It did not increase exponentially like it did at the beginning, but the experience was already quite abundant. Heavenly level instance dungeon. It was a heavenly place to gain experience. Long Fei would not miss it. He definitely wouldn't miss it. 15 minutes later, they covered the sky with their Powerhouse S. These Powerhouse S were all at the peak of the Golden Immortal realm, and there were even Powerhouse of the Yuanxian realm. Master, my time is almost up. Seeing so many Powerhouse, the gravity troll started to worry for Long Fei. Chapter 940 Exchange Point What's Good About It? Chapter 940 Exchange Point What's Good About It? Too much. At least 4 or 5,000. Once these powerhouse erupted, they would use the Yuanxian S and the Fitted Realm S to crush them. If even the Golden Immortal Long Fei could not resist it, there was no need to talk about the Yuanxian and the Fitted Realm's powerhouse. However, Long Fei was not afraid at all. He was still laughing excitedly. Hee hee. This is great. Gravity Troll was startled, and asked, Master, what do we do? It's too dangerous, why don't I? Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei said directly, return to the 18th floor of hell. Leave the rest to me. The Gravity Troll wanted to resist on time. This would cause a blow to his cultivation and affect his future breakthrough. From the day he entered the 18 levels of hell, he was Long Fei's brother. Long Fei would never take his brother's future as a joke. The two of you, go back. Long Fei didn't wait for them to resist and immediately moved the two of them back into the 18 levels of hell. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The surrounding densely packed powerhouse surrounded Long Fei. From the 9th stage of the virtual immortals to the current Fitted Realm, that also meant that Long Fei's challenge was an entire 30 to 40 levels higher, of course. Other than, the rest of the time was spent on killing Hell Core, Fea, and the giant demon. It was impossible for Long Fei to reach this step with his own strength. They took turns. Whose turn was it now? The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted slightly, and he laughed excitedly. The ideas that were linked to the Xianbao spirit stones did not have any hesitation, and he roared out, explode. Ding. System notification. The Xianbao spirit stones will be activated the second time, 8 more times. As the voice fell, Long Fei's power of celestial value instantly increased by 1,000,000 points, and in that instant, Long Fei also heavily roared out, "Turn Yang Long into God. Come out. Roar." With a furious dragon's roar, Long Fei's body turned into a ball of flame. The flames ignited, and in the blink of an eye, Long Fei's body also turned into a super-huge flame dragon ancestor. Standing in mid-air, Long Fei stared at the powerhouse and became excited. Kill. Those powerhouses simply did not have time to react. They could not react in time. Who would have thought that a 9th-stage virtual Immortals realm human would suddenly turn into an extremely frenzied flame dragon patriarch? Mad explode. With a move of the dragon's might, the sky started to split, and with a heavy stomp, those powerhouses were immediately destroyed. The system beeps echoed crazily. The experience points of each powerhouse rose to 280,000, and the skill redemption point also increased to 98. Thousands of powerhouses were being chased around the world by ancestor Yang Long. It was them who were chasing after Long Fei previously, but now it was Long Fei's turn to chase after them. It was a total massacre. The could barely resist the Yuan's yarn, but it could only do so as it could not withstand the fire dragon ancestor's dragon might at all. As they continued to kill, the realm of these powerhouses continued to increase. An hour passed. 2 hours passed. 5 hours passed. Long Fei did not stop there. Seeing that the system's countdown timer was getting fewer and fewer, Long Fei started moving faster and faster. Qiu Wandao and Elderly in Green had been guarding the walls of the 9 Dragons Wall the entire time, as they waited for Long Fei to come out. It's been more than 11 hours, why hasn't the young master come out yet? Could something have happened? Elderly in Green paced back and forth. He was very anxious. Not just him. Qiu Wandao was equally anxious. Back then, Master only went in for half a minute before coming out. This time, young Master went in for 11 hours, if he met with any danger. He didn't dare think about it. The Elderly in Green said, "If anything happens to young Master, we cannot afford it. He is the Long family's only hope, and also the old Master's only hope. Long Fei could not afford to let anything happen to him. He was the hope for the rise of the Long family. It was also the hope for him to solve all of these mysteries. If something were to happen to Long Fei, even the Long family would probably be destroyed." The 2 elders were extremely worried. Palace question of God. 19 shook his head and said, "Supreme God, I've checked." When Long Fei came to Qiu Wandao's courtyard, he disappeared without a trace. He didn't go down the mountain either. I don't even know where he went. Supreme God was still staring at the great void mirror, his eyebrows locked tightly. Could something have happened? 19 asked again, could it be that they were worried about today's finals and all of them escaped? No way. The Supreme God immediately denied it and said, "Long Fei is different from other people. I understand the people from the Long family very well. Even if they die, they will not admit defeat, and even more so, they will not flee. All right. You don't need to investigate it anymore. I believe he will definitely appear in the finals today." Supreme God was worried, but there was nothing he could do. He could only hope that nothing bad had happened to Long Fei. Long Fei was also his hope. The hope to break through the limit of his lifespan. In logistics department. At the same time, there were a lot of people who were worried about Long Fei. In the yard, Song Qianqian looked at the sky that was already bright, and muttered, "The sky is about to brighten, and a new day is about to begin." Long Fei did not return. She had not slept a single night, as she lay on her bed tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep. The more Long Fei did not come back, the more worried she became. Today would be the God Emperor Academy's finals. Team competition, alchemy competition, and even personal qualifying fight competition. How much pressure was on Long Fei's body, Song Qianqian could imagine. Sister Qian, senior brother Long Fei will be fine. Linglong did not sleep well either, and muttered as she walked to Song Qianqian's side. Man Tuoluo also walked out. She did not sleep, and spent the entire night cultivating, trying to break through the poisoned spirit immortal root in her body. She said, "Young Master Long has never given up." Next. Xiao Ying, Aoya, Han Shueji and the others also walked to the courtyard. She quietly waited for Long Fei to come back, and for the sun to rise. Long Fei had not returned throughout the night. They were extremely worried, afraid that something would happen to Long Fei. But Long Fei. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Long Fei was grinning from ear to ear. Your experience points has already reached 3 billion. What level can you reach? Wow, once I absorb a Tier 5 Immortal Foundation, won't I have to fly? Long Fei needed tens of millions of experience points to level up. If he were to release all 3 billion experience points, it would be a huge blow to him. EXP bar. In addition, Long Fei was now more concerned about the skill redemption point, 108,700 points. What can be exchanged for? What can be exchanged for? Hee. Time was running out, and it was already dawn. The martial arts arena was already packed with people. There were even more people than 2 days ago. The people of the 18 matrial halls had also appeared in the martial arts arena earlier, and today was the finals, which was also a very important day. To Ouyang Zhon, this was the day of his revenge. To Pan Zhon, this was an unshakable day. The boss hasn't come back yet. Chen Tianfei said anxiously. Song Qianqian said, let's go to the training grounds first, Long Fei will definitely be there. At the same time, in the last minute, Long Fei's heart stirred, and he thought to himself, since I can't care about all that, I'll just exchange for it. Ding. Chapter 941, Despicable and Shameless. Chapter 941, Despicable and Shameless. Why hasn't boss arrived yet? Senior brother Daofeng, what did boss say to you last night? Why hasn't boss appeared yet? Chen Tianfei frowned, his expression anxious. The match was about to begin. However, until now, Long Fei still hadn't appeared. Daofeng said, Young Master Long, tell us to go first. He did not say where we are going. At this time, Sun Datu ran back while gasping for breath, and everyone looked at him. Sun Datu shook his head. I can't find Young Master Long. Chen Tianfei immediately took a step forward and asked, have you seen Presbyter Chiu? They should know where the boss has gone to. Sun Datu shook his head and said, we didn't find them either. God Emperor Fairyland was an extremely secretive place. Not to mention Sun Datu, even the 19 last night could not find the location of Presbyter Chiu and Elderly in Green. Song Qianqian frowned. Where did you go in the end? They were all secretly anxious. Song Qianqian exhaled, his gaze firm as he said, Long Fei is not here, but I believe he will definitely rush over. Right now, we must act as if nothing happened, and not let Ouyang Zhon and the others see through our weakness. Also, if the young Master Long is not here, we absolutely cannot lose today's competition. Long Fei was under too much pressure. Song Qianqian didn't know how to share the burden for Long Fei, so the only thing she could do was to help Long Fei and win the match. Everyone looked at Song Qianqian and nodded heavily. Everyone became full of fighting spirit. For boss. It's also for yourself. F***CK. In the stands, Liu Changkong asked lightly, why didn't I see Long Fei, that brat, appear? Ouyang Zhon also thought that it was strange, but he did not give it much thought and replied, don't worry, he will definitely appear. I've checked the records of the patrols yesterday, he hasn't left the God Emperor Academy, he can't escape. Ouyang Zhon also did not know where Long Fei had gone to. But he did not care about that, he only cared about how Long Fei would die today. Xiao Tianwu said slightly, could this be Long Fei's scheme? Could he be hiding in the shadows and seeing the sequence of the battle? Disappearing was a method. Because, once they thought that Long Fei had disappeared, they would not target Long Fei at all. The timing of alchemy and battle team ranking tournament might change too. This way, when it was open, Long Fei would be able to participate in 2 matches at the same time. Ouyang Zhon sneered, you want to deceive us with such a small trick. Team competition will go first. Hold the alchemy competition first, so that Long Fei does not have the chance to participate in the team competition. Ouyang Zhon quickly made his decision. Only by doing this could Long Fei be unable to participate in both matches at the same time. He was still fiercely targeted. Jiao. Brother Ouyang, you're really amazing. Whether or not Long Fei appears, he will not be allowed to participate in 2 matches at the same time. Many of the academy elders smiled proudly. Ouyang Zhon slightly narrowed his eyes, and muttered to himself, "Today, I will definitely kill you, and everyone else by your side. They will all have to accompany my son in death. Today is the day of the finals. Alchemy, battle team, refining, and so on and so forth and so forth and so on and so forth and so forth and so forth and so forth and so on and so forth and so on and so forth and so but. The focus of the crowd is still on the ranking tournament of the individual battles. Who is the number 1 disciple of the God Emperor Academy? Today, the God's General will be born, let's wait and see," the referee excitedly said. Following that, under Ouyang Zhon's arrangements, he continued, "Next, we will proceed to the first round of team competition, which is also the semifinals." The Black Stone's screen began to scroll. A few seconds later, Arrogant Dragon Squad against the Vermilion Bird Battle Team. Please enter the arena with your 2 teams. It's finally about to begin. Who would become the number 1 team of team competition in the finals? Discussions were going on in the stands. Song Qianqian said, "Fatty, Dao Feng, Wang Qingshan, Han Xueji, and me, I will go up first, and follow the tactics that Long Fei has arranged." The 5 nodded their heads heavily. And then, Song Qianqian brought the 4 of them to the stage. Long Fei still hasn't appeared. He still hasn't appeared at this time? Ouyang Zhon sneered, his gaze sweeping across the entire audience and said, "I'll see how long you can hide." And then, Ouyang Zhon looked at Liu Changkong and said, "Have you all settled the things I've asked you to do?" Liu Changkong laughed sinisterly and said, "I have already given you my word, don't worry, you will die in this competition." Vermilion Bird Squadron. All of them had the cultivation base of the Blood Immortal realm. Of the 3 sword cultivators, 1 trained in formations and the other focused on defense. It was different from yesterday. Of the 2 people in the Vermilion Bird battle team, the array formation disciples and the defensive disciples were both newcomers. To be exact, they should be people from other college of martial arts training. In the arena, Dao Feng stared at the 2 of them and said, "Senior brother of Qing Cheng, aren't you a member of the Array College of Martial Arts Training? That person is also a high-ranking disciple of the Black Tortoise College of Martial Arts Training." 2 of the members of the Vermilion Bird battle team were from other college of martial arts training. Qing Cheng laughed coldly and said, "Do I need to tell you that I'm someone from some college of martial arts training? I just joined the Rosefinch Martial Art College last night, is that not okay?" Dao Feng's forehead turned sinister as he said in a low voice, "Everyone be careful, this person's formation is extremely strange, and he has the title of the number 1 disciple in the court. That disciple of the profound College of Martial Arts Training must also be careful. His defense is very strong." Han Xueji also reminded her in a low voice. Song Qianqian's brain spun as he flew, saying, "Fatty, you are in charge of blocking the 3 disciples of the Rosefinch Martial Art College. Dao Feng, you are in charge of attacking that formation disciple. The remaining people will work together to deal with that disciple from the College of Martial Arts Training." "Understood," everyone whispered. For the 5 members of the battle squad, first kill support. Buzz. The boundary on the stage opened up. The referee elder loudly announced, "The semifinals of the team ranking tournament will begin now." The entire audience quieted down as they stared at the arena with wide eyes. The 3 disciples of Rosefinch Martial Art College moved at the same time, the 3 swords instantly striking towards Song Qianqian. Song Qianqian was not afraid. Chen Tianfei took a step forward and said, "Bullying our boss's woman, do you all want to die?" Boom. A thick layer of defense was released as Chen Tianfei rushed forward. The moment of his weakness. That array court disciple revealed a sneer, "Ha ha ha." Dao Feng's heart sank, "This is bad. Fatty, be careful." Although Chen Tianfei was fat and arrogant, he was also very meticulous. The moment he landed, he felt that something was amiss. Zhong Xian's body jolted, and he wanted to fly backward. However, it was already too late. His body felt like it had fallen into a swamp, directly binding his body. The more he struggled, the more he sank, and his defensive power was completely useless at this moment. This formation had been set up since last night. It was used to deal with Chen Tianfei's heaven-defying defense. Once they bound him down, the remaining 4 would be easy to deal with. Song Qianqian became angry between his brows, and shouted out, "You guys are too despicable." Chapter 942 Assault Power. Chapter 942 Assault Power. Ha ha ha. Despicable? Right, we are despicable, so what? A Rosefinch Martial Art College disciple laughed complacently, extremely pleased with himself. He succeeded in one move. Everything was as Ouyang Zhon had planned. First, he tied up Chen Tianfei, and then he dealt with the other 4 people. Chen Tianfei struggled with all his might, but he did not understand much about the power of formations. The more he struggled, the stronger the mud-like binding force became. The formation disciple laughed with pride and said, "You won't be able to break through, ha ha ha." Song Qianqian's forehead turned sinister as he said, "Save the fatty first." At the same time, he rushed towards Fatty. Fat Men Chen shouted, "Don't worry about me." It was also at this time. The corners of the Black Tortoise College of Martial Arts training disciples' mouth slightly hooked up. "What can I do that I can't lose?" "Defend. If you don't die, you will not lose." Boom. The power from his body exploded out, forming a defensive wall that was like the reappearance of the earth. Bam. The attacks of the 4 were instantly blocked, and all of them were received by him alone. The path of defense was one of immortality. The 4 were blasted away. That Black Tortoise disciple said complacently, "The 3 senior brother S are at this time." Bang, bang, bang. As soon as he finished, his defensive wall suddenly moved quickly. 3 disciples of Rosefinch Martial Art College followed behind him and rushed forward quickly. Song Qianqian's celestial yin sword struck out crazily, but it was completely useless. Her attacks were indeed sharp, but when it came to defense shields, they were all blocked by the Black Tortoise disciple. "All of you will die." The defensive wall swiftly pushed forward, and the 4 of them swiftly retreated. The Fat Men Chen shouted, "4, jump out." Don't stay within the range of his defensive wall. The distance between them became shorter and shorter. If they did not jump out, they would be stuck at the boundary, and that way, the 4 of them would become live targets, killed by the 3 Rosefinch Martial Art College disciples. While the fatty was speaking, the array disciple sneered and said, "You'd better take care of yourself first." As soon as he finished, the formation suddenly changed. Chen Tianfei felt as though the sky above him was collapsing. It ruthlessly smashed down towards him. His mind, his sea of consciousness started to stir frantically. He could not handle it. Fat Men Chen spat out a mouthful of blood. It was also at this moment Song Qianqian and the other 3 were about to be hit on the wall of the boundary. It's over. Arrogant Dragon Squad is going to lose. Compared to the 4 Matrial Halls' team, they are still too weak. The first few wins were all because they were caught off guard. After their strength was exposed, they would be targeted. This is a real team, not a personal show. Team competition. It was a team competition. It was useless for one person to be strong. The defenses of the Fat Men Chen was being suppressed. Dao Feng and Song Qianqian were unable to unleash their attacks, and were instantly forced into a corner. In a situation where they had nowhere to retreat to, they would only become live targets to be slaughtered. What a guild needed was cooperation. In terms of coordination, Arrogant Dragon Squad was too weak. The stands were filled with sighs. As a dark horse, the advance of the Arrogant Dragon Squad was halted here. Ha ha ha. Arrogant Dragon Squad? This time, we're going to make him wipe out his entire team. Liu Changkong laughed complacently, and at the same time said to Ouyang Zhon, "Brother Ouyang, you're still the best. If you didn't send someone to equip the array in advance to bind that fatty, it probably wouldn't have been this easy to win." Ouyang Zhon laughed coldly and said, "Even he, Long Fei, wants to fight us? Is he qualified? Do you have the strength to do so? Playing with him is like playing with a dog." This place was the God Emperor Academy. It was Ouyang Zhon's territory. He could play however he wanted, but Long Fei did not have the qualifications to fight against him. In the first 2 days, he thought that the Pan family would deal a heavy blow to Long Fei, but he realized that he was wrong. There was only one thing he wanted to do. He used every method at his disposal to hit Long Fei and suppress him fiercely. Even if Long Fei kills his son, he will make Long Fei suffer 1,000 times more. Thus, he did everything he could. The people of this world would only remember the powerhouse and would not care about his methods. This was reality, although many people knew that the array was set up in advance. So what? Who would dare to say? So what if he said it? The reason of the week. Ouyang squinted his eyes. They were filled with dense killing intent as he said, Long Fei, I want all of your people to die here today. I want you to be wiped out. Just you wait. This is only the beginning. Ouyang glanced at Pan Zhon, who was on the stage, and snorted coldly in his heart. Pan Zhon, use me as a spear user and kill my son. I won't care about any personal qualifying fight. Don't even think about stopping my path of revenge today. At the exit of God Emperor Fairyland. Buzz. The 9 dragons on the wall became sinister. The wall suddenly shot out a ray of light, causing Long Fei to be pushed out. Huff. Long Fei heaved a heavy sigh. Damn, I nearly died inside. The death of the powerhouse of the peak realm of the Unity Immortal is too terrifying. Long Fei said with a lingering fear in his heart. Just now, when God Emperor Fairyland was exchanging techniques, several life-threatening attacked him. He simply could not endure it. Qiu Wandao and Elderly in Green were finally relieved when they saw that Long Fei's heart was hanging at the tip of his throat. Long Fei looked at them and immediately asked, What time is it now? Has the team competition already started? Qiu Wandao said, It started long ago. Long Fei frowned and said, This is bad. Then they. Qiu Wandao smiled faintly and said, Don't worry, their strength is greater than anyone could imagine. There are only 3 of them on the stage. That kind of combination attack was really strong. Last time, he was able to repel even Powerhouse, who was at the Yuanxian realm. Team competition of a mere disciple of an academy? It was not a problem at all. Long Fei looked at the 2 mysterious elders and asked, What kind of power do I not know? Qiu Wandao laughed. Strong power. Elderly in Green said, Your father's power. Long Fei's eyes shook. My father, Qiu Wandao said, Don't ask so much, hurry up and go to the martial arts practice grounds. If you appear, their strength will definitely increase. Long Fei didn't have much time to think about it. Team competition felt uneasy in his heart. I hope nothing bad happens. Presbyter Qiu, the 2 of you, do me a favor. Go to God Emperor City's God's Phoenix Pavilion. After he finished speaking, Long Fei quickly flew towards the direction of the training grounds. At the same time, Dao Feng looked at Han Xueji, and then looked at Wang Qingshan. Wang Qingshan nodded his head, and said, Senior brother, senior sister, come, let them witness our true strength. Chapter 943. Chapter 943. He had been forced into a corner. Dao Feng and the others had no choice. Chen Tianfei also roared out, Let the 8 generations of his ancestors do it. As soon as he finished, Dao Feng and Han Xueji suddenly used a burst of power from their bodies, and immediately charged into Wang Qingshan's body. At this moment, Wang Qingshan raised his eyes, sword-drawing style. Boom! His sword struck out, shocking both the gods and the demons. This strike was as fast as lightning, even faster than lightning. Shua. 1 sword and 1 slay. The thick shield wall was pierced through with a sword strike. Immediately after, the Black Tortoise College of Martial Arts training disciples' throat turned red, and his eyes glazed over. And this is not the end. A single sword strike had pierced through the throat of the disciples of the College of Martial Arts training while Wang Qingshan's figure had also came out. Shua. With another slash, the 3 disciples of Rosefinch Martial Art College also felt their throats turn red, and did not dare to move an inch. It hasn't stopped yet. Wang Qingshan's figure continued to fly out, charging towards the College of Martial Arts training disciples who were at the back, and piercing his throat with his sword. Boom! Wang Qingshan's long sword was slightly inserted into the sheath. Raising his eyes, he looked at Ouyang, who was on the viewing platform. Liu Changkong and the elders from the College of Martial Arts Training, as well as the principal, spoke with an arrogant voice. All of you, die. Bam! Bang! 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 With 5 consecutive sounds, the throat of the 5 members of the Vermilion Bird Battle team burst open. Blood spurted out from their mouths as they fell to the ground, dead. A single slash had killed 5 people. This power. It was such a big deal. Moreover, this sword strike was too fast, even Ouyang Zhon and the rest could not react in time. Seeing what was happening in the arena, many people's minds began to twist. They couldn't even react to what was happening. How could this be? Why would they kill back? What was the power of that sword? I don't understand. He didn't understand at all. Ouyang Zhon's scalp was tingling as he stared at the 5 people on the stage. They felt like they were strangers. Were they the students of the God Emperor Academy? Why is there such a powerful force? Why he didn't understand at all. That sword. Would he be able to withstand it? Everyone thought that arrogant Dragon Squad had more or less revealed his true strength and that he no longer had any more power. The explosion of the sword just now made them realize that they were wrong. For half a minute, the entire training field was silent. Even the Fairy Hall Elder couldn't say a word, so they couldn't understand what kind of power it was. Wang Qingshan roared out, so what if it's targeted? So what if I become enemies with the entire God Emperor Academy? You want to stop the arrogant Dragon Squad? No one, Wang Qingshan, who had always been low-key, also roared. His voice ignited the entire audience. That sword attack was too powerful. Damn, how did he do that? 5 members of the Vermilion Bird Battle team were instantly killed. This is too unbelievable. Just what kind of background do these people have? Too powerful. Song Qianqian looked at them all, and his heart tensed up. They're really strong. Fat Man Chen struggled out of the array and walked to Wang Qingshan's side, pretending to be excited. In reality, he was supporting Wang Qingshan, and said in a low voice, "Brother, hold it." That kind of power was something they couldn't withstand right now. Once released, they could create powerful attacks, but they would also receive heavy injuries. Wang Qingshan's mind, consciousness, and organs were severely injured, but he did not reveal it. Instead, he used a wild roar to cover up the pain. Wang Qingshan's body slightly trembled as he said excitedly, "So being arrogant is so great, ha ha ha. Arrogant Dragon Squad wins. Let's enter the finals." Next match, team competition will be fighting with the Black Tortoise Battle team. The referee's voice faded. Song Qianqian's arrogant Dragon Squad did not even have the time to walk down the stage, before the referee elder's voice sounded again. Black Tortoise Squad admits defeat. Green Dragon Troopers wins, enter the finals. Team competition will be competing in the finals. 2 teams are invited to enter without giving Song Qianqian and the others any chance to breathe. Ouyang Zhon coldly snorted, "Let's see how long you can continue being so arrogant for. Come on. Continue." Ouyang Zhon angrily roared out, "Green Dragon Troopers. Disciple is here." The 5 of them stood in midair and roared. They were the strongest team, as well as the top geniuses of the God Emperor Academy, and all of their cultivations were blood immortal peak realm. The 5 of them had all reached the level of elders. There was even the possibility of them entering the outer space palace. Ouyang Zhon looked at the 5 of them and said, "Kill them." There was no taboo. The 5 of them lowered their voices and said in unison, "As you command." The 5 of them moved through the air and landed steadily on the stage. What was worth noting was that this time, there were no twins as Sun Datu had said. The 5 of them were all senior disciples, and 3 of them were the top 5 disciples of last year's personal qualifying fight. Very strong. An extremely strong team. Song Qianqian frowned, the pressure in his heart becoming more and more intense. He shouted, "Isn't this competition a bit too unfair?" "Fair? Ha ha ha. This is the God Emperor Academy, what I say is what I want. Are you telling me that's unfair? Then don't compete." Ouyang Zhon laughed coldly. Liu Changkong also sneered, and said, "Fairness is only an excuse for the weak. Since your arrogant Dragon Squad is so arrogant and despotic, then what are you afraid of? Continue." Ouyang Zhon's gaze swept across the entire audience, and said, Long Fei, I know that you're hiding in a corner, and I definitely won't allow you to participate in 2 matches at the same time. You just have to watch your brother with your own eyes. Your woman should really be on the stage, ha ha ha. His voice caused a wave of murmurs. However, just as Ouyang Zhon had said, no one would remember the loser. They would only remember the powerhouse, and this was an era where the powerhouse was respected. Weak. No one would ever mention it. I'll give you 1 minute to prepare. If you don't enter the arena after 1 minute, you'll have to give up. The referee said. Fat Men Chen shouted in annoyance, this is F*King bullying. Ouyang Zhon acted as if he was going to bully you and make you unhappy just because it was directed at you. Song Qianqian said, the more they target us, the more we must win, and we must not lose face for Long Fei. The final match. I will give up my seat. Man Tuoluo, you go, Song Qianqian said. She was the one with the strongest cultivation out of all of them, and also the one with the strongest attack power. However, sword attack just now had let her know that during their 2 months of training, she had cultivated an extremely strong offensive strength that she was unable to fuse with. Chen Tianfei said, Wang Qingshan is almost unable to hold on. Song Qianqian looked at Xiao Ying and said, you shall replace Wang Qingshan. Xiao Ying nodded his head heavily, all right. Chapter 944, Tian Luo Formation. Chapter 944, Tian Luo Formation. Song Qianqian left the seat. Arrogant Dragon Squad returned to its original state. However, they were all members of the 2-month training camp, and there was a connection between their strength. Only together could they unleash their power. Song Qianqian said, as the leader, Dao Feng will listen to him. On the stage, you must be careful, you must not be reckless. If one was able to set up a formation in advance, he would be able to prepare all kinds of schemes beforehand. Ouyang Zhon did not care what methods he might use to obtain his goal. Everything was ready. Dao Feng, Chen Tianfei, Han Xueji, Man Tuoluo, and Xiao Ying all entered the stage. At this moment, the 5 green dragon troopers descended from midair and stood on the stage, revealing cold smiles as they watched Fat Men Chen and the rest enter the stage. A bunch of trash. The 5 of them were all at Virtual Immortals stage. In terms of cultivation level, they were an entire realm lower than the people from the Green Dragon Troopers. The difference in strength was like the difference between heaven and earth. First team, Green Dragon Troopers. Last year, there was not a single loss in this year's team ranking tournament. Green Dragon Troopers' people are all Blood Immortal Peak Realm. Their strengths are way stronger than the Vermilion Bird Battle Team's people. Arrogant Dragon Squad is definitely not a match for them. However, since the Arrogant Dragon Squad was able to make it to this point, they can already create history. A team formed by a fist of service disciples is simply unable to make it onto the stage. This kind of team. I'm afraid that our group will be wiped out on stage today. The Green Dragon Troopers was really too strong. However, this was not the main point. The principal of the Formation College of Martial Arts Training walked over to Ouyang Zhon and smiled, Brother Ouyang, everything has been prepared. The principal of the Spirit Poison College of Martial Arts Training also walked up and said with a smile, when formations are activated and spirit poisons are released, they will lose their power in an instant and become dead dogs one by one. The 3 chairmen laughed out loud complacently. Ouyang Zhon said, the competition with the Vermilion Bird Battle Team is just an appetizer. Since you still have strength that you did not reveal, then don't even think about exploding it today. Although God Emperor Academy didn't have one. However, Ouyang Zhon covered the sky with one hand, and did some simple things on the stage. Just you wait. This time, we'll definitely wipe out your entire team. Ouyang Zhon laughed coldly as he watched Chen Tianfei and the others enter the stage. Long Fei, you are really patient. You haven't appeared even at this time? Long Fei was frantically rushing over. Buzz. Boundary on the stage closed his eyes. The match begins. The moment the referee's voice fell, Dao Feng said without any hesitation, quick decision, use your big move right now. Understood. The 5 of them immediately moved, the energy between them was released and linked into a net, which then surged into Dao Feng's body. Without waiting for Green Dragon troopers to make a move, Dao Feng took a step forward. Shua. The two scimitars in his hands moved, and his body suddenly disappeared. He could only sense an endless amount of blade intent from the arena, which was very strong. His figure disappeared. His disappeared. Where did you go? Is it a new power? All sorts of discussions sounded out in the spectators' area. They were all guessing what kind of power Dao Feng was releasing. Why did it suddenly disappear? It was extremely strange. This was the most primitive power in Dao Feng's body. At the same time, it was also one of his blend of fairy veins, the invisible immortal root. With speed combined with the power of the invisibility immortal foundation, Dao Feng had hidden himself in the air and was the first to attack. Shua. In half a second, the curved blade moved and slashed towards the Green Dragon troopers' team leader's neck. The cold light was poisonous. The scimitar moved like lightning. The expression of the leader of the Green Dragon troopers sunk. It was almost impossible to dodge, but it was also at this moment. A member behind him slapped the ground with one hand, breaking seal with his palm. A dense array of runes spread out and covered the entire arena. Heaven's Net formation, open up. The battle with the Vermilion Bird formation had only trapped one person from Fat Men Chen. It was only a small-scaled formation. It was a large formation. At the same time as the array was activated, thin white smoke floated up from the array. Man Tuoluo shouted loudly, "There's poison." Also at this instant, the power in Dao Feng's body began to quickly shrink back. The curved blade in his hand was just half a centimeter away from the Green Dragon trooper's captain's neck. However, the distance of half a centimeter became like 1,000 miles in the blink of an eye. A sneak attack. You deserve it too. Both of his fists formed a palm. His footsteps moved, his figure landed behind Dao Feng, both of his palms struck out. One palm had sent Dao Feng flying. Landing beside the three members of the Green Dragon troopers, the three of them sneered at Dao Feng, staring at him coldly with scornful eyes. How does it feel to be a sneak attack? It's great, isn't it? As soon as he finished, the three of them attacked at the same time. Bang, bang, bang. Dao Feng was flung into the air, one palm striking the stomach pubes, one palm striking the chest and heart, one palm striking the top of his head. 3 palms struck out, and the sound of a dragon's roar resounded in the air. Bam! Dao Feng landed heavily on the ground, spitting out a mouthful of black blood. His face was pale to the extreme, and just as he was about to get up from the ground, he was stomped hard on the ground by the Green Dragon squadron leader. Dao Feng, just lie on the ground obediently. The leader of the dragon group sneered. His heart was also filled with lingering fear. If not for the instant when Dao Feng retracted his power, he would have already become a dead man. He stepped on Dao Feng's head with all the strength he could muster and stared at Chen Tianfei and the other 3. Then he laughed. There are still the 4 of you. I'll do it. Chen Tianfei was enraged. The divine armor on his body released a buzzing sound. Divine armor began to buzz. Without waiting for Han Shueji and the other 2 to agree, he held his breath and directly absorbed the energy. With a heavy stride like thunder, he rushed forward and said, come at me if you dare. In another place, Zheng Qingsong's mind was thinking frantically, formation, Heaven's Net formation. How do I break it? How do I break it? If they were unable to break the formation, then Chen Tianfei and the rest's power would be quickly removed, and they would be killed no matter how strong Fatty was. The stronger the power he released, the faster he could absorb it. In the end, he would even be able to suppress the power of the immortal foundation. Formation aperture, formation aperture. Zheng Qingsong's mind was frantically replaying the scene of when the formation array was activated. In order to break the formation, one must first find the eye of the formation array. The stage is created by a boundary array. If the array formation is not created by the same person, then the 2 array formations will clash. The formation aperture is definitely not in the arena. If that's the case, the array that Zheng Qingsong cultivated in, he had some knowledge of the Heaven's Net formation. It was a powerful type of devouring array, which was extremely secretive. But his 2 months of training had not been in vain. Suddenly, Zheng Qingsong suddenly shouted, I got it. Chapter 945 Death Place, Long Phase Arena. Chapter 945 Death Place, Long Phase Arena. Teacher Oya, Sister Qian, I need your help. Zheng Qingsong said quickly. Aoya directly said, quickly tell me. Zheng Qingsong said, the Eye of the Heavens Net formation is right around the arena. As long as we can find it and destroy it, the array formation on the arena will be broken. Song Qianqian immediately rushed towards the stage. Oya followed him out. Zheng Qingsong shouted loudly, Brother Fatty, hold on. Bam! Bang! 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 As Chen Tianfei was ganged up on, the divine armor defense on his body also quickly shrank back. The stronger the force, the faster it retreated. Ha ha ha! Defense as king? Damn fat pig, aren't you very arrogant? Now I feel great. Without the support of strength, Chen Tianfei was just like a normal person. His strength couldn't be unleashed. The divine armor's power was suppressed. Chen Tianfei shouted, do you only have that much power? It's not even as strong as my scratching, ha ha ha. However, when he looked at Song Qianqian and the others, he felt that they were not far from the arena, and immediately thought that they were looking for the Eye of Insight. Then he must hold them. They had to buy time for Man Tuoluo, Xiao Ying, and Han Xueji. As long as there were 3 of them, there would definitely be a chance for them to participate in this competition. Long Fei was not present. They couldn't afford to lose. If he wanted to follow the boss and go further, then he had to become more resistant. The fat men Chen roared, Green Dragon Troopers? I think it's the Blue Bug Battle Team. Come on, everyone come at me, all of you are coming for me alone. Ha ha ha. Fat Men Chen's fresh blood dripped down from the top of his head. His expression was sinister, like a war god. No fall, no retreat. Is this person stupid? It's already like this, why aren't you admitting defeat? Brainless. Isn't this the fat pig from the general's estate? I never thought that you would be even more brainless and useless than before. Ha ha ha. The people of Green Dragon Troopers have won, they are going to be crowned. Discussion arose from the surroundings of the stands. No one sympathized with the fatty, because no one sympathized with the weak, and they would only look down on the weak. Seeing how the people of the Green Dragon Troopers were constantly tormenting Chen Tianfei, the disciples of the Green Dragon Matrial Hall cheered loudly. Kill him. Arrogant. In front of our Green Dragon Troopers, what rights do you have to be arrogant? Ouyang Zhon also laughed coldly with pride. At this moment, the principal of the Array College of Martial Arts Training's face shook. Dean Ouyang, what are they looking for? Zheng Qingsong shouted excitedly, found it. Under this floor tile. Zheng Qingsong's reaction towards formations was very strong. He lifted up the floor tile with one hand and saw that there was a huge crystal stone underneath. It was the Eye of the Heavens Net formation. It was also the source of power for formations. Break for me. Zheng Qingsong's palm struck down, his arm went numb, and his body exploded as he retreated. Ha ha ha. The head of the Array College of Martial Arts Training sneered, this is a Xian crystal stone. How can a mere array master like you break through a Xian crystal stone? Zheng Qingsong's power was the power of the formation, and was unable to break the Xian crystal stone. However, Aoya's and Song Qianqian's strengths were different. The revenge blade in Aoya's hand moved, flying straight up. Insight into sword method. Shua, Shua. 3 swords struck out, the sword stabbed down towards the Xian crystal stone, the powerful breaking force stabbed onto the Xian crystal stone, immediately causing cracks to appear on the Xian crystal stone. The eyes of the sect master of the Array College of Martial Arts Training shook and he said, Principal Ouyang. We can't let them break through the core of the array. If the array breaks, their power will recover in an instant. When that happens, I'm afraid. Ouyang Zhon's eyes turned sinister, and he shouted, where are the Azure Dragon disciples? Ha! The large group of Green Dragon Matrial Hall disciples behind him stood up. Ouyang Zhon coldly stared at Song Qianqian and the others and said, kill them. Yes sir. Dozens of genius disciples from the Green Dragon Matrial Hall flew down from the spectator stands. It was also at this time. Sun Datu roared out, brothers, it's time to repay Yong Master Long, charge. Kill this group of Green Dragon Material Hall's geniuses. More than a dozen janitor disciples desperately tried to resist. Ling Long and the heavily injured Wang Qingshan also rushed forward. Song Qianqian's forehead turned sinister as he said to Aoya, "Big sister Aoya, break the formation, I will block it." As soon as Song Qianqian finished speaking, the blood veins of the ninth heaven were released. Boom! The exquisite vein of ancient rosefinch was released, and a dozen or so people blocked the disciples of the Green Dragon Material Hall. The long sword in Aoya's hand struck down once again. A few more cracks appeared on the Xian crystal stone and the formation's power weakened. At the same time, the fatty and the others recovered their strength. Ah! Chen Tianfei roared loudly, "Son of a B***tch, is this all you have? Come on, come on." The situation was a bit chaotic. He was on the verge of losing control. In the stage, Fat Men Chen was about to go berserk as well. Xiao Ying, Man Tuoluo, Han Shueji's heart was in pain. They could not make a move. If they did, they would definitely lose the competition. They were the last chance to make a comeback. Xiao Ying said with a sunken voice, "Hold on, it's going to be fine soon, it's going to be." He raised his arms and clenched his fists tightly. Aoya rose into the air once again, the long sword in her hand smashed down onto the Xian crystal stone heavily. "Break for me." At this moment, Liu Changkong's eyes turned sinister as he moved through the air. With a step, he landed in front of Aoya, curled the corner of his lips, and said with a cold sneer, "You, get down." The aura on his body moved, and the pressure of the golden immortal rank pressed down. Boom. The difference in cultivation between Aoya and Liu Changkong was just too big. They were simply unable to endure the pressure of the golden immortal rank, and instantly smashed down from the sky. Bam! Oya spat out a mouthful of blood. Song Qianqian watched as Aoya was struck down, watched as Liu Changkong walked towards her. The ethereal image of the nine heavens enigmatic woman moved, directly rushing towards Liu Changkong. With great difficulty, Aoya climbed up from the ground. Ah! Once again, he soared into the sky. Holding the revenge blade in both hands, he stabbed it down heavily towards the Xian crystal stone. Liu Changkong's eyes darkened, his cultivation at the sixth stage of the golden immortal stage exploded out, like a ferocious beast that had collided with Aoya. Bam! Oya was knocked flying. Liu Changkong made a backhand gesture with his hand, forcing the phantom of the nine heavens profound woman to retreat. He let out a cold laugh. "You want to break the formation? You're too far behind. A bunch of trash." It was extremely disdainful. The golden immortal rank was too strong, and he was the principal of the Rosefinch Martial Art College, so no one was his match. Even Song Qianqian was unable to contend against him. The service disciples could not resist it either. Oya was seriously injured. Song Qianqian and Ling Long were entangled. The formation could not be broken, so Chen Tianfei and the rest who were on the stage would definitely die. Dead. There was no other way. Everyone's heart was dead silent. At this time, a golden-haired figure descended from the sky. His two hands moved, and a huge golden palm came crashing down. Chapter 946 Instant Killer. Chapter 946 Instant Killer. If the array did not break, Chen Tianfei and the rest who were on the stage would die. When Liu Changkong took action, Aoya and the others fell into a deathly trap. Aoya was heavily injured, and the spell formation couldn't be broken. Song Qianqian was entangled, and was unable to struggle free. She could only watch Liu Changkong walk towards Aoya step by step as everyone became anxious. Ouyang Zhon and the others, on the other hand, were incomparably pleased. At this time, they seemed to have forgotten Long Fei's existence, however. Just as they were extremely excited, a figure descended from the sky. Moreover, this human figure was a little strange. His golden hair was soaring, and the aura on his body could be seen burning crazily, as if he was surrounded by a ball of energy. An enormous golden palm came crashing down. The sky darkened as if it was about to split open. The strong power of the Holy Buddha descended layer after layer, locking onto Liu Changkong as he smashed downwards with his palm. Too fast. It was so fast that Liu Changkong had no time to react. Too fierce. It was a complete shock to everyone in the martial arts arena, as they had never expected that Long Fei would appear at this time, or that he would descend from the skies. Golden hair. Liu Changkong looked up into the sky and let out a terrified scream, ah! A huge palm came slamming down on his head. Crack. Rumble. A gigantic Lord of Buddha handprint appeared on the ground. Liu Changkong's body was like a lump of meat paste in the center of his palm, without any signs of life. Instant kill. At this moment, the system sounded out. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Liu Changkong for obtaining 80,900 experience, 8,000 power of celestial and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 3 immortal crystals. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Sky Confusion armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Divine Origin sword. All of them had been devoured by the Yang Huang ancestor. Long Fei didn't care about it. He glanced at the arena, saw the same Aoya, Sun Datu, and the others, and clenched his fists tightly. Whoever dares to provoke my brother, die. Boom. His figure moved and a golden light flashed. It floated in front of the disciples of the Green Dragon Matrial Hall as if it was as strong as rotten weeds. He used his full combat power. Bang. 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 Rumble. Bang. With a loud noise, the ground cracked and dozens of disciples of Green Dragon Matrial Hall were sent flying. In that instant, the dragon Salya in Long Fei's hands fell dragon chop. 1,000 slashes. The dragon Salya was arrogant. Killing the disciples of these Green Dragon Matrial Halls under the Super Saiyan's mode was simply a violent strike, harvesting them crazily. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Asterisk fresh blood rained down like rain, causing everyone to be in shock as they stared at Long Fei. Die. More than a dozen Green Dragon Matrial Hall disciples were instantly killed. Long Fei did not hear it, and his body sank as he looked at the other wave of Green Dragon Matrial Hall disciples. Boom. Yet another collision, sending all of them flying into the air. Super Saiyan's Long Fei's fists shot out like cannons. All of you, die. One by one, they attacked. Fist to flesh, fist to head. The originally ferocious Green Dragon Matrial Hall, the principal of the 18 Matrial Halls, who was originally incomparably pleased with himself, and those people who were originally watching with glee were now violently crushed by Long Fei's appearance. It was as if he had stepped on their heads and slapped them in the face. Liu Changkong was instantly killed. 20-odd Green Dragon Matrial Hall disciples were instantly killed. Long Fei's body floated in mid-air, as he roared out, Mother ***, who else is there? The entire audience went silent. He could not make any sound. Long Fei's hair became golden, the power in his body was a type of powerful bloodline energy. They were completely unfamiliar with this power. What exactly was this? He could not understand it at all. Because the Buddha palm technique was Long Fei's strongest power, but now, Long Fei burst with power stronger than the Buddha palm technique. Furthermore, with the two of them combined, even Liu Changkong only needed a second. Although Long Fei had launched a sneak attack just like that, and he had arrived too quickly for Liu Changkong to defend himself, but he was still a level 6 golden immortal super powerhouse, and he was killed just like that? How strong were the combinations of the Super Saiyan and the Buddha palm technique? He could not understand. Everyone in the entire martial arts arena could not understand. Long Fei had shocked them too much with his arrogant and overbearing aura. Suddenly, Long Fei roared again, "This old man will just ask one more time, who else?" She stared at Ouyang Zhon with killing intent. At this time, Aoya strenuously walked forward, the revenge blade in her hand heavily stabbing into the formation's eye stone. Crack. The Xian crystal stone cracked and the Tian Luo array formation disappeared. Mother ***, it's my turn now. Chen Tianfei's neck shook, and his joints exploded out with a loud sound. A thick layer of defense formed a counterforce, standing in front of the 5 of them, and said with a sinister smile, "Damn it, I want to kill you all now." At the same time, the powers of Han Shueji, Man Tuoluo, and Xiao Ying interweaved into a net and the combined attack was released. Bang, bang, bang. Xiao Ying's footsteps were like thunder as he charged forward quickly. The power of the brutal immortal root exploded outwards. One punch. The fist was like 100,000 tons of metal smashing down. The leader of Green Dragon troopers was smashed to the ground. Chen Tianfei leaped up, and with a stomp, he rushed forward. I've said it before, if you don't kill me, I'll kill you. The defense on Chen Tianfei's body formed into an attack, so every one of the 5 of them had beaten him up. The moment he stopped the captain with his butt, Chen Tianfei shouted with an ice-cold expression between his brows, "All of you, get on the ground." Boom. Boom. The 5 of them suddenly had antiphasic force on them. The stronger they were just now, the stronger the antiphasic force they received was. The 5 of them simultaneously spat out blood. Their faces were pale. They didn't know how to defend against this sort of attack. His body sank. Xiao Ying unleashed his terrifying strength continuously, and every time he attacked, he used his full strength. In just a few seconds, Green Dragon troopers. They had been wiped out. The Fat Men Chen helped Dao Feng up, and the 5 of them stood in a row, imitating Long Fei's way of speech. They all shouted out at the same time, "Who else?" The entire audience was in an uproar. He was once again stunned by the 5 people from Arrogant Dragon Squad. Fight back with your life on the line. In that instant, the 5 people who were crushed to the point of no return killed all 5 people from Green Dragon troopers, resulting in the annihilation of their entire group. Moreover, the domineering aura emitted from their bodies was too ferocious. Unparalleled. At this time, a tiny voice sounded out. "Mad dragon, mad dragon, mad dragon." Next. Many people responded, "Quang Long, Quang Long, Quang Long." It was boiling. Arrogant Dragon Squad started to boil for Long Fei. Ouyang Zhon's face turned green, his killing intent soaring to the skies. Chapter 947 Start of War. Chapter 947 Start of War. Team Ranking Tournament. Victory. Seize the first team. It was an indisputable victory, a victory that completely crushed the entire team. There was no room for debate at all. However, there was one person who was in a bad mood, Ouyang Zhon. The 5 people from Green Dragon troopers were all his most prized disciples, and were the names of the disciples that he was most proud of. They were all in the arena. He couldn't hold back the rage in his heart for even a moment. With a burst of power, he roared loudly, "Long Fei." His voice was so loud that even the power of a golden immortal stage level 7 could crush the entire arena. The entire arena instantly quieted down. The Azure Dragon courtyard is angry. Long Fei is going to suffer. He actually went against the 4 matrial halls in public, and sneaked an attack on Liu Changkong as well, killing so many of their disciples. No matter how strong he is, he's just a virtual immortal stage. If it wasn't for Liu Changkong carelessly ignoring defense, how could Long Fei have killed the Vermilion Bird Principal? Young man, you are too arrogant and do not know how to restrain yourself. So what if you have won first place in the competition? No matter how strong you are, can you be stronger than the power of 18 matrial halls? This time, Ouyang Zhon is really angry. Many people began to discuss in whispers. No doubt about it. Long Fei had already caused Ouyang Zhon to go completely berserk. How could he not be angry after killing his son, and now that he had overturned his Green Dragon troopers and killed so many of his disciples? At this time, the time limit for the Super Saiyang mode was over on Long Fei, but he was not worried. The reason for releasing the Super Saiyang mode was very simple. Because he had even more powerful techniques. The moves in the God Emperor Fairyland that used skill redemption point and system prizes. 2 sets of skills. Therefore, Long Fei was not worried about using the Super Saiyan's cooldown skill right now. Long Fei smiled and stared at Ouyang Zhon. "What is your father doing at home?" Cluck, cluck. Ouyang Zhon gritted his teeth as his eyes angrily glared at Long Fei, saying, "Killing the Vermilion Bird Principal and the disciples of the Green Dragon Matrial Hall, today." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei said fearlessly, "That's because they deserve to die. To touch my brothers and my women, that's what happens to them." Ouyang Zhon, Are you going to say something that I have to die today? Stop it. Just come down and mess with me. Long Fei's eyes were also staring furiously at Ouyang. He was extremely unhappy in his heart. If he had come here just for half a minute, then all of his people would probably die here, and the consequences would be extremely tragic. He would never forgive himself. When he thought about this, Long Fei's heart became even more furious. He pointed at Ouyang and said, "As the principal of the Green Dragon Material Hall, you lead the elders, disciples, and principal to attack us everywhere, but you actually set up the formation in advance. Don't you think that's shameful? Every single match in the previous great competitions was held at different times, and the team competition and alchemy competitions were held at the same time. Don't you feel ashamed that you are going against me? Joint referee, colluding with the Pan family to bribe her and make her pay, don't you think that's shameful?" "Of course," Long Fei sneered, "for a person like you who has skin thicker than the walls of God Emperor City, shame is nothing." But Long Fei's eyes shook, and said, "So what? Who can stop my footsteps? Who can stop my arrogant dragon squad's footsteps? I'll grind. Who do you think you, Ouyang are?" He was furious and tried his best to vent his anger. Long Fei was truly unhappy in his heart. Ouyang was even more unhappy. The people around the grandstands were all discussing. Long Fei seems to be right. In this year's academy competition, he did not seem to be facing the entire team, but the entire God Emperor Academy instead. Is it really that good to target them like this? It's too unfair. None of the team competitions Long Fei have the means to enter the arena to compete, so that's how it is. Damn, this is so King shameless. As Ouyang listened to the discussions around him, his eyes were completely bloodshot. The aura on his body heavily exploded outwards, and his entire person entered a berserk state. Long Fei squinted, and said coldly, "Come if you dare." The mission of the 18 Arhats had already beheaded the second one, even though there was no golden exclamation mark floating above Ouyang head, but, if he dared to come down, Long Fei would dare kill him. 7th level of the Golden Immortal Realm, it was really very strong. Long Fei believed that he would definitely be able to learn the 2 new sets of techniques. Even if they couldn't kill him, they could at least cripple him. However, what Long Fei was most worried about right now was if he could get his hands on a level 5 immortal root, then the 3 billion experience would not be a waste. He had to think of a way to raise his level increase. As long as his level increased, Long Fei was more confident. "Ah!" Ouyang roared in fury, causing all the disciples of Green Dragon Material Hall to stand up. All eyes were fixed on Long Fei. It was also at this time Song Qianqian walked over to Long Fei's side. Chen Tianfei jumped down from the stage and stood beside Long Fei. Next, Dao Feng, Man Tuoluo, Han Shueji, Xiao Ying, Aoya, and the logistics department brothers all stood beside Long Fei, and almost at the same time, they swallowed another destiny changer, followed by another. The aura of their power suddenly changed. Long Fei laughed excitedly. He stared at Ouyang and said, "You want to start a war with your father? Come on. Do I have to be afraid of you? Too arrogant." Green Dragon Material Hall, the #1 college of martial arts training, the strongest among them. Yet now, he was actually looked down upon by a disciple of the virtual immortal stage. Xiao Tianwu coldly snorted, "Long Fei, you are too arrogant. You want to start a war? My Black Tortoise College of Martial Arts Training will fight you. White Tiger Kung Fu Tribe. College of Martial Arts Training Spirit Poison. Formation College of Martial Arts Training." Immediately after, all the elders of the 18 Material Halls stood up, and all the elite disciples behind them stood up as well, and shouted loudly, "Let's begin." They were the most elite powerhouses. It could be said. Then they could replace the entire God Emperor Academy. He offended the masses. Ouyang laughed coldly, "If you want to start a war with our 18 Material Halls, then let's see just how many lives you have left today." Boom. The moment he said that, Ouyang gaze darkened, and he stepped forward. Long Fei's brows tightened, and said in a low voice, "Once a fight breaks out, all of you should think of a way to escape. Chen Tianfei said, "Boss, my fat men Chen will not run." Dao Feng said, "Young Master Long, if you want to live together, you must die." "We have to die together," Zheng Qingsong said excitedly. "Brother, we'll do it this way, we'll wipe them out." Song Qianxian, Aoya, Man Tuoluo, and the others were also looking at Long Fei. No one wanted to leave, and it was the same for the disciples of the logistics department. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. "We shall live and die together. We shall live and die together." Everyone shouted at the same time. The dragon Salia was on their shoulders. Staring at Ouyang Zhon, they shouted out, "Kill." Chapter 948, The Boss Took the Bait. Chapter 948, The Boss Took the Bait. The war was about to begin. No one backed down. Even in the face of the entire God Emperor Academy, no one took a step back. Life has to be wonderful. This was what Long Fei was doing. He actually reached this step, then he would continue to be arrogant, and not submit at all. Ouyang Zhon stared at Long Fei with anger in his eyes and said, "Kill." The president of the 18 matrial halls, the elders, and the disciples all stepped forward, and their voices shook the sky. "Kill." The situation was about to get out of control. Pan Zhon frowned. What is Ouyang Zhon up to? This was not his plan. He was completely at odds with his Pan family's plan. He looked at Pan Sheng beside him and asked, "Young master, what should we do?" Pan Sheng smiled faintly and said, "Don't worry, we won't be able to fight." "Heh." Pan Zhon trembled slightly. He was about to attack, but he still couldn't. He looked at Pan Sheng's confident smile and said, "Young master, can it be that Supreme God is going to intervene?" Pan Sheng's eyes slightly rose, and said, "He has always been interfering with the God Emperor Academy. Aside from cultivating for the past half a year, he also kept an eye on the movements of the Supreme God and the reason why he tolerated Long Fei. This time, he was very clear in his heart that the Supreme God wanted to teach Long Fei a lesson. Since that was the case, then Long Fei must never be able to stand up, and must never have the qualification to enter the Supreme God's Dharma eyes. Pan Zhon was secretly shocked. After hesitating for a few seconds, he asked, "Young master, your and Long Fei's strength." "Destroy him." Pan Sheng laughed coldly, completely not putting Long Fei in his eyes, and said, "I can point him in the Thunder Mountains in one move, but I can still do it now." Pan Zhon was overjoyed, and said excitedly, "In today's battle, Pan family is destined to shake the entire God's martial continent, and the reputation of the #1 family." Pan Sheng looked at Long Fei, and let out a mocking sneer. "Long Fei, you are only my stepping stone, ha ha ha." At the moment when the war was about to begin, a figure descended from the sky. Buzz. The power of the explosion was so strong that it directly blocked off Ouyang Zhon and Long Fei. This was the power of the Supreme God. The figure was the 19th on the law enforcement agency. 19 figures sunk and shouted, "God Emperor Academy is the #1 academy in Immortal Domain. Do you want to destroy him?" This was not the outcome Palace Question of God wanted to see. The power of Western Devil Lord grew stronger every day. God Emperor Academy could not cross over, otherwise, Immortal Domain would quickly collapse. This was not what Supreme God wanted to see. It was also at this time. The 8 Fairy Hall Elders also moved, landing in the middle of them and shouted, "Long Fei, calm down a little, don't you think it's messy enough?" Long Fei said, "You have to tell Ouyang Zhon to calm down first." As the head of the Azure Dragon Institute, he actually despicably and shamelessly went against us. What is he trying to do? If you're afraid, then tell me. I will make them lose in a more respectable way. In this situation, Long Fei knew he couldn't fight. However, to Long Fei, this was actually a little better. He could also slowly complete his mission of the 18 Arhats. There was no need to be too anxious. Therefore, Long Fei was unbridled. Ouyang Zhon's eyes became angry, and he shouted, "Long Fei, I'm afraid of you." Long Fei laughed, "If you're not afraid of me, then what are you doing with so many schemes and tricks? Wasn't this because he was afraid of me? Ouyang Zhon, you have the nerve to be the principal of Green Dragon Matrial Hall? If I were you, I would just find a piece of tofu and smash myself to death. You." Ouyang Zhon was enraged to the point that he almost vomited blood. He was truly unhappy, but he could not find any words to refute. Indeed. He had always been plotting against Long Fei, had always been plotting against him. But Pan family had asked him to do all of these. Enough. 19 shouted out loud, looked at Long Fei and said, Long Fei, if you continue to pester me, your alchemy qualification will be cancelled, and your personal qualifying fight test will be cancelled. Long Fei slightly laughed, ha ha ha. But, if Ouyang Zhon dares to go against this daddy will beat him up no matter what price I have to pay. 19 Without waiting for Ouyang Zhon to get angry, he shouted loudly, Dean Ouyang, I hope that you can treat the following matches fairly. This matter shall be concluded. We shall now proceed to the array formation finals. Can't fight. If they started fighting, the Supreme God's plan would collapse. If Long Fei lost, it would be detrimental to his search for the dragon domain. No matter who lost, it would not be beneficial for the Supreme God. Moreover, he only wanted to teach him a lesson and let him remember everything. He also wanted to remind him that if he wanted to become stronger, he would need to unravel the secrets of the dragon domain in order to be able to obtain even more power. It was also because of this that Pan Sheng left the outer space palace. The Supreme God wanted Pan Sheng to teach Long Fei a lesson. Moreover, Supreme God believed in Pan Sheng's strength. It was more than enough to deal with Long Fei. Long Fei laughed coldly, Ouyang Zhon, you really want me to die, right? I will give you a chance today, just you wait. They wanted him dead. Long Fei also wanted to kill all 17 of the College of Martial Arts Training's principal. Each and every one of their names had turned blood red, the kind of boss that could attack him at any time. Long Fei also could not tolerate it. He was waiting to kill them all and complete the mission of the 18 Ahat. Finished. Long Fei turned and left. Ouyang Zhon's eyes turned sinister as he said coldly, Brat, you will definitely not be able to survive today. The people of 18 Matrial Halls also sat down. Boss, where did you go last night? Chen Tianfei could not help but ask. Long Fei laughed, I went to a good place. As he was speaking, Long Fei's eyes were fixed on Pan Zhon, who was in the middle of the group. The Pan Jiu axe is with Pan Zhon. If we can first blow it up. A greedy light flashed in Long Fei's eyes, the corners of his mouth hooked up as he said inwardly, Presbyter Chiu should be reaching God Emperor City soon, right? Presbyter Chiu, an elderly in green, went to God Emperor City. Other than protecting the Fengyuan business alliance, there was another matter. That was to get something done. Long Fei quietly waited. Song Qianqian said, Long Fei, what are you planning to do with personal qualifying fight? I think the people of 18 Matrial Halls will not let you off easily. Do you think that palace question of God is a bit too protective of you? I just don't think it's that simple. Long Fei laughed, don't worry. Before entering the God Emperor Fairyland, Long Fei might have been a little afraid, but after leaving God Emperor Fairyland, he was no longer worried in his heart. This was because he had sufficient strength. In addition, he had 3 billion experience points. Half an hour later, a Pan family disciple had an anxious look on his face as he whispered something into Pan Zhon's ears. Pan Zhon suddenly stood up and stared straight at Long Fei. His eyes revealed killing intent, and after saying a few words to Pan Sheng, he left his seat. Long Fei smirked, the boss has taken the bait. Chapter 949 Explosion of Pan Jiu Axe. Chapter 949 Explosion of Pan Jiu Axe. Some moves require specific weapons. For example, sabersmanship. It needed to use the saber to display the strongest power of the saber technique. If he were to use the sword to replace it, it would be impossible for him to use the overbearing strength of the saber technique. The same was true for swordplay. The first time Long Fei saw the heaven-splitting axe, he told himself that the Pan Jiu axe was his. And now, Long Fei really needed this divine axe. After Pan Zhon quietly left, Long Fei moved, multiple shadows. Long Fei released a fake body, his real body also quietly standing in the middle of the encirclement of Fat Men Chen and the others. On the road to God Emperor City. You dog, you actually dared to attack my Pan family first, I think you are tired of living. Pan Zhon's killing intent surged, the anger in his heart surging, He never thought that Long Fei would actually send people to attack his Pan family first. And it was during the Academy's finals. Was not afraid, but he was the great clan elder and had to rush back to take charge of the situation. Therefore, he quickly left the venue. Beneath the shade of the forest, a man had his back against a large tree. Watching Pan Zhon's charge forward with quick steps, he laughed coldly and said, "Great Elder Pan, where are you going?" Long Fei, Pan Zhon's face was shocked, but it was not because of fear. He said, "Weren't you competing in the martial arts arena?" When he left, he had clearly seen Long Fei standing there. How did he arrive here in the blink of an eye? Or was he waiting for him here? Pan Zhon's brows sank, and he realized that Long Fei's goal wasn't anyone else but him. Narrowing his eyes, he smiled sinisterly and said, "Brat, you've been waiting for me here, right?" Long Fei said, "I'm not stupid." Pan Zhon laughed coldly, and said, "Since you're here to send yourself to your death, then I can only grant your wish." As soon as he finished, Pan Zhon's figure disappeared and a powerful force burst out. In an instant, he had appeared in front of Long Fei. It was too fast. Pan Zhon's cultivation level was not lower than any college of martial arts training principal, and also, he was still holding onto the holy artifact's battle axe, as he slashed it towards Long Fei. Die! Long Fei blocked him. In his heart, he believed that they were not killing him, but delaying him from returning to the God Emperor city. He was not Shu Tianhe, and if he was not Liu Changkong, he would not have been killed by Long Fei's sneak attack. The axe chopped down with extreme ferocity. A red name boss is a red name boss. As expected, it would attack as soon as it saw you. Long Fei slightly smiled. He did not dodge. He did not even move. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, and he said to Pan Zhon, who was being cleaved down by the godly axe in midair, "I don't have much time today, otherwise I would have used my own strength to properly play with you." So, Long Fei laughed, "Giant demon, do it." He did not want to waste time on Pan Zhon. His goal was simple: explode. Moreover, Long Fei could not leave the training grounds for too long. He was worried that Ouyang Zhon would attack his brother again. Thus, he decided to end the battle quickly. "Understood, Master." The giant demon's incomparably strong gravity flame burst out. The moment Pan Zhon's axe hacked down, the chain on his arm was blocked, and the chain on his right hand turned into a huge hammer that smashed down towards Pan Zhon's head. Bam! The amount of HP left on top of Pan Zhon's head fell immediately. The tens of millions of critical damage dealt was a complete mess. A stick was thrown down. Pan Zhon was instantly crippled, blood spurted from his head and his body fell from the sky, forming a deep crater on the ground. It was also at this time Long Fei moved his idea and instantly recalled the giant demon back into the 18 levels of hell. This was the God Emperor Academy, right under their noses. If someone found out, it would be troublesome. The giant demon disappeared. Long Fei slowly walked forward, looked at Pan Zhon in the deep pit, and coldly laughed. "Great Elder Pan, what are you feeling good about this? I told you before that if Long family could step on you once, he could step on you twice. Do you not believe that you still want to oppose your father? I am not Long Wushan's ancestor. I will not give your Pan family the chance to rise again." Long Fei smirked, his right hand moved and the dragon salya on his shoulder fell, slashing fiercely. Cutting the grass does not remove the roots, spring winds rise again. Back then, Long family was a force that crushed Pan family and did not kill many people from Pan family. Long Fei's personality was different. Since he was sure that it was an enemy, then he wouldn't have the slightest bit of mercy. He didn't want to see the Pan family rise to power again several thousand years later, and once again, want to crush Long family. To cut the grass, he had to get rid of the roots. Pan Zhon's face turned pale, he stared at Long Fei and roared, "Long Fei, you dog, don't be arrogant, today you have to die too, ha ha ha." Crack! A blade fell. Pan Zhon's head was chopped off. The system beep sounded out, causing Long Fei's mind to tighten. He could not wait and shouted, "Release your striking attribute." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Pan Zhon for obtaining 98,000 experience, 9,000 power of celestial and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining pure Pan GU bloodline. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Pan Gu Axe. Congratulations to player Long Fei. The system beep continuously sounded, and when Long Fei heard Pan Gu Axe, his heart immediately blossomed with laughter, becoming incomparably excited. Ha ha ha. It dropped. The Pan Gu Axe dropped, it's so good. Seeing the gigantic axe in the space ring filled with a domineering aura, the savage energy continued to emanate from it, and his blood began to boil. If the Pan Gu Axe matches up to that move. Ha ha ha. Your father will definitely ascend to the heavens today. Long Fei thought about the scene of how the skill redemption point was paired with the Pan Gu Axe, and was simply so excited that it reached its climax. You want me to die today? Phut, all the people that said that to Lousy are dead. Long Fei laughed in disdain and quickly rushed to the training grounds. Martial arts arena. When Pan Zhong was using the Pan Gu Axe, the space between Pan Sheng's eyebrows suddenly tightened. There were still not 10 minutes before Pan Zhong left, and he couldn't possibly have already returned to the God Emperor City's headquarters. Just when he was shocked, the Pan Gu Axe's aura once again disappeared in an instant. Pan Sheng heaved a sigh of relief. Pan Zhong definitely killed his opponent and kept the Pan Gu Axe. Palace question of God. In that instant, the demonic energy of the God Emperor Academy soared to the sky with incomparable density and density. Supreme God did not notice, but there was a person who noticed it, Jiyu Tongtian. His brows tightened. Magic Tribe has already invaded God Emperor Academy. Seems like Western Devil Lord can no longer hold himself back. Jiyu Tongtian squinted his eyes and muttered to himself, the secret realm of Dragon Domain must be opened as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.